On this episode of the Star Wars Time Show, Matt and Nick return from their break to do their first live show together in many parsecs. Find out what the hell they've been up to before they dive into this week's main topic, the Acolyte. The boys will break down the show's first 2 episodes to let you know what they thought, while also pointing out things you may have missed and highlighting where the plot may go next. Were the trolls right? Is this show already mid, or is it the next greatest live-action Star Wars? Keep on listening to see what Space Dumb and Dumber have to say. Of course, the show will end with the Question of the Week segment and the latest round of Star Wars. Punch it, Chewie.
Welcome back! Yeah! That's been in my gut for 2 weeks, Nick. I had to purge that thing like a fucking devil, dude. Holy shit. I am now exercised.
Hopefully there's no new people in the live stream, because if there are, they're already gone.
You're like, stop! Volume off! Yeah, people are going to be in their cars tomorrow, driving off the side of the road, down a ravine. But like I said, it's been shit. Feels like 3 weeks. 3 weeks since you and I did this, I think.
I think it's been 3 weeks. Yeah,
Woo!
I think it has been.
Hold on, I got to take a break. I think I'm about ready to have an aneurysm after that. My heart's like, go. Hey, yeah, we're back, and it's great. I'm talking to my buddy, young Nick here. I haven't seen him in a long time. He made it back, people. He made it back. We were worried that he might be human trafficked, but that was not the case. So we are back. We are refreshed, and we are ready for all things Star Wars. We got, obviously, our Acolyte take, the breakdown, the review, the what you missed, the speculations, what's going to happen next. We're going to talk about Star Wars Hunters, a game I never thought I'd even mention again, but holy shit, I'm finding it to be quite enjoyable and addictive. We're going to get into our vacations a little bit, thanks to some prompts from our Ask Us Anything segment. We'll do the top 5. We'll do the question of the week. We are back. We are live. We are going to do what we do. There's always time for Star Wars time. Get some. All right, buddy, let's just get right to the questions. I do have some pop culture to get to after these. And some of you are probably going to laugh at me because I just saw the Rotten Tomatoes score for Atlas. I'm like, wow, was I on drugs? I don't think I was. I watched it with my wife and we both liked it, but we'll get there. Let's get to the Ask Us Anything. So I think we got like 3 questions here, Nick. Let me pop them up. The old secret slacker here. And the one we're going to start with comes from League of Extraordinary Sixers. She gave us a good one after a long break that, fans may want to hear. Hopefully we don't go on too long about what we were doing, but she's asking, how was your vacation? Did young Nick make it back? So I'll take question 2. Young Nick is here. Mm-hmm. That's not a stand-in. It's not a clone. Hemlock wasn't at his house trying to do experiments on him and bring him back to life. He is back. I'll go real quick with my break. It was pretty fantastic. I went to Rehoboth Beach out there in Delaware. It's somewhere I've been going to since I was a little kid. I love it. I'd like to retire out there someday. But for the first time in a few years, we had basically 2 weeks of perfect beach weather. Obviously not super hot because it's northeast coast, but good enough that when it's 72 with the sun out on the beach, it feels like it's 82. Lots of good time with the kid, with the wife. My mom, my uncle stopped by for a few days. Tons of great eating. Nick, these are 2 of the weeks out of the year. I have about 5 weeks out of the year where I say I live like an American, meaning I don't have all of my constraints on. I don't really diet. I still work out and walk and do all that type of shit, but the diet's off, drinking all day long, put on some weight. Feels great, and I'm refreshed. Like I was telling Nick, for the first time in months, maybe years, I was actually excited to get back and start doing some Star Wars time. I mean, going into this break, I was running out of steam. I mean, you regulars, you probably heard me on the stream here. I mean, there are some days I'm just like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? Is it worth it? Is it really worth it? And you're all like, hey, just do it if it makes you happy. It's like, well, it does, but this little devil in my head also wants the recognition because I'm a narcissist. So this break has helped with that. Now, more than likely, knowing myself, Nick, that will be crushed within the next 72 hours or so, and I'll be right back into depression basement boy. But it was good. I feel rejuvenated. It was great. I was excited to come back because I knew we were going to get some new Star Wars to check out. I was going to get to talk to my man here. I was surprised by Star Wars hunters coming out of the vacation. We'll talk about that more. So that's me. I made it back. I'm refreshed. No, I'm not tan because I do not let my skin touch the sun unless it has to. Because if you can prevent one type of cancer, I believe skin cancer is one, you have a really good chance of doing so. So it's not like chicks are looking at me anyways. So I will stay pasty white, just like our boy. What's his name? What was that movie? It's not Pillow, not Cloud. What was his name? Powder. Yeah, Powder. Remember Powder?
I don't know. No.
He's like an albino boy or something.
I can't remember. I mean, maybe was that the name of the movie?
Yeah, I think it's just called Powder. Yeah, check it out. It's kind of a fucked up movie from what I remember. They like make fun of him because he looks like he's a Harkonnen.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, so there you go, Nick. Now, Nick, he was all over the fucking globe the past 2 weeks. I don't know how he does it. I hate traveling, especially on long plane flights. I assume Nick is the same. Hopefully, he has some form of tranquilizers to get through this shit. But Nick, let us have it, man. How did Ecuador go, and then into Hawaii?
I'm just gonna summarize it. It was good. I mean, it was good. It was 2 beach vacations, but I was just had fucking gnarly jet lag when we got back from Hawaii. Like I was jet lagged for like a whole fucking week. Because our flight out from Hawaii was at 7 p.m. and it was a 6.5 hour flight. And then we landed in Austin at 7 a.m. So you basically I lost the night because I can't sleep on planes. And then when we the night before we left was the wedding night, was the night the wedding was, and I only got like 4 hours of sleep that night. So I was super low on sleep. I lost a lot of time coming back from Hawaii to Texas. So I just had like really gnarly jet lag. But other than that, it was fun. It was a good time.
Excellent. Nick is a world traveler, as we know. He's got that dual income, no kids setup that many of us parents had at one point in time. It's been so long, I kind of forget that life. But yeah, all right. Well, I'm just glad you're back because I know Ecuador was literally giving this kid a fucking ulcer. So I'm glad he got through that. Didn't get stabbed. Didn't get any sort of cocaine addiction. So that's a positive.
None of that.
All right. I don't know why the questions aren't displaying right now on this thing. There we go.
Most of our listeners can't read anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Completely understandable. All right, EKU Rory, we've all seen this slapdick before. I may or may not know him, but he's asking Nick, why isn't Jar Jar's ancestors in this series?
I mean, we don't know if there's gonna be Gungans in this series.
Technically,
so far.
Are right. We don't have to go to Naboo. They're probably still there chilling.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine that there are Gungans that are still, in the underwater village on Naboo if we ever go there. But maybe they will be. Maybe we
quit
just
being impatient, EK Rory. Let the fucking series play out, you troll.
It's only been 2 episodes. Come on, give it some time,
dickhead.
Give it some time, and tell Rory that his Darth Jar Jar fix is coming in the next Lego game.
I know.
It's there, the Lego thing.
I let him know. I was like, dude, you'll be happy about this. You can finally masturbate to your Jar Jar Binks obsession in reality.
He manifested it. He fucking made it come to life. Look at him.
I'll tell you what, though. He's digging the Acolyte. He was watching with his little girl last night. He kept hitting me up. I'm like, hey, dude, I want to watch it myself. Leave me alone. I'm trying to play Hunters. I want to rank up, and then I want to watch Acolyte and take my notes. All right, thank you, EKU, Rory. And then we got one more here. Rippick Tan. Got any recent Star Wars hot takes? As a couple gamers, does Outlaws look good to you?
I mean, I'm definitely
hold on.
interested.
Be mad. You are the man. Sorry, Nick. We always got to honor our fans that give us these supers. You are too kind. Be mad. We miss you too, buddy. It really. I'm not kidding. It's fucking awesome to be here. And now that I see this man showing up, it's even better. We got B Mad in there, and then Tones comes in. We've got the crew. 1-6 is in here. League is in here. Mando, Commander, Bat, Bango, Nova, Sir Dork, Devin. Yeah, this is SWTS Nation at its finest.
To answer your question, B Mad, we had multiple flight delays. I don't want to go into everything, but there were multiple flight delays that definitely caused some issues.
Yeah, my goal is to not get on a plane for as long as I can.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't think. I mean, we're going back to New Orleans. We're driving to New Orleans on Friday because it's like my one of my close cousins just graduated with their master's, so we're going in for a little party for her. But I think that other than that, I don't think that we have...
there's two. Sorry, buddy.
I don't think that we have another plane flight coming up. So
good. Yeah, I know the next time I fly, I'm going to be on one that either has like a nut job on it that I'm going to want to slit their throat and potentially end up in jail myself, or it'll be delayed for like 15 hours while you're already on the plane. It's the worst. Get me out of here. All right, fuck that shit. I hate flying. Was that a hot take? Have we done any hot takes yet based on this question?
I mean, he was asking like, what do we think about hunters? No, outlaws?
As couple gamers, does outlaws look good to you?
I mean, I don't even know how much there is to see about it. I've seen like the stuff that has come out. I think I don't know if there's been like extended looks or anything. It does seem interesting to me. It seems more interesting to me than the Jedi Survivor series and stuff because I just don't like the gameplay style of that, and I'm just not going to play them.
Yeah.
But I mean, Outlaws seems like it's really up my alley. Like that's the kind of games that I like to play. Kind of sandbox, open world, choose your own adventure path and stuff like that. And I think that it will be refreshing to play a story-based Star Wars game that isn't driven by a Jedi character. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited for it. It's Ubisoft, so I'm cautiously excited, or cautiously optimistic about it because Ubisoft finds a way to fuck up nearly every game that they put out. And I really hope that they don't do that with Outlaws, because Ubisoft loves to fucking nickel and dime you, and they love to charge you extra for every possible thing. But I'm really hopeful that this is just a very clean gameplay and narrative experience, and I don't have to worry about all the Assassin's Creed nickel and dime nonsense from it. So we'll see.
Oh man, I was just reading Bat's latest chat. We're here. We're No, wait, wrong play. I love it. I love our super fans. Yeah, here, listen. I'm down for Outlaws for sure. A Star Wars hot take, Rippick, and I'll keep it in the gaming universe. Star Wars Hunters isn't a pile of steaming shit. How's that? I honestly still can't believe how much fun I'm having with this free-to-play arena-based shooter that's only for mobile devices and Switch. It's like it's like a 2010 game coming out now, but it's awesome. So there's a hot take, because I don't think anyone on this planet outside of Zynga and whoever works at Lucasfilm Games thought that Star Wars Hunters would be worth a damn or even worth downloading as a free game. And it turns out it is. We'll talk more about it here in a second. So, all right, there you go. That's Ask Us Anything for this week. Stick around, though, because we'll still have our questions to the fans coming here at the end during our fan segment. All right, let's bring that browser back up, do a little tour of pop culture. And like I said, Nick, I was kind of proud of myself for watching Atlas. I feel like I discovered something, even though, it's a Lopez movie, so I guess they were promoting it big on Netflix. But Heather and I watched it this past Sunday after getting home from vacation. A little worn out, didn't want to do shit, a little shitty outside. So I threw it on. I was like, why not? I feel I want to watch something new. I don't want to rewatch something I've already seen. I'm always down for stuff that deals with, cybernetics, artificial intelligence, future forward type of stuff. Is AI real? Is it not? Does it have rights? That type of shit. And that's pretty much what Atlas is about. and I really dug it. I'm not kidding. Like I thought it was a damn good sci-fi movie. I'm like, hell, I'd watch Atlas too if they made one. And then today when I was trying to pull up a poster for it, I see it scoring Rotten Tomatoes. It's literally 20%. Like panned by critics and even fans are like, yeah, it's about a 48%. And I don't know. Listen, everyone's going to perceive this form of art differently. Art forms are subjective. But if you just like, some basic sci-fi, I don't think you're going to be wasting 2 hours watching Atlas. All right. I really don't. I mean, it's not perfect, but pretty darn good for a Netflix sci-fi movie. Okay.
Interesting.
The next one here. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Nick.
No, yeah. I've seen stuff for it. I've seen the advertisements for it and everything like that. But haven't. I don't even think I've seen a full preview for it. So maybe I'll have to watch a preview. Just get an idea.
The trailer on Netflix kind of got me because it's Netflix. They don't do trailers. They just kind of show a scene. And Jennifer Lopez's character comes into this unit that's essentially using Neuralinks to hook up to these mechs. And she's all like anti-AI cybernetic shit. So that kind of caught me. I'm like, all right, fuck it. I'll buy into this. And like I said, I mean, Bat's saying it was mad. And I don't doubt most people will feel that way. But I was genuinely impressed by it. And I'm not kidding. If they made an Atlas 2, I would definitely queue it up. It's far, far better than Rebel Moon. Not that that's a high bar, but Nick, if you had like gun to head, Nick, you've got to watch Netflix only sci-fi, pick Atlas. Okay.
Pick Atlas. Gotcha.
And the next quick one here, I know I'm a little late on this, but it's because I was away, but my fucking goodness, George Miller did it again. Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, is another beautiful wasteland Mad Max franchise film. It's fucking amazing. Like what George Miller can capture on film, the crazy fucking driving stunts, it's magic. Like I don't know how people don't die in spades filming a Mad Max movie. It's just nuts. I mean, Chris Hemsworth was goofier than I've ever seen him. He was great as Dementis. Anya Taylor-Joy, great as a young Furiosa. Even the young girl that played young Furiosa, fantastic. I mean, it's 2.5 hours, Nick, and it still feels like they cut some sections and sped it along. Like the 40-year Wasteland War or 40-day Wasteland War was literally done in like 30 seconds, but my goodness, it's fucking awesome. It's a prequel done right. Like it literally shows how she left the green, why that happened, what happened to her whole life, and how she becomes the Imperial Praetor for Immortan Joe and ultimately tries to steal his wives away. So fucking awesome. It's awesome. If you love Mad Max, if you love Fury Road, this is the perfect prequel for it. Thank you. All right. Nice. Yeah, there's people we haven't even heard about this stuff. 1.6 shooter, he's not touching Atlas because it's Lopez. I actually think Lopez helps the movie, believe it or not. All right. Well, Nick, that brings us to another topic that I know, you're not too keen on. You're not going to try it out even though it's free. You don't have a Switch, right?
I do. Yeah, I've been playing. Actually, that's mostly what I've been playing is my Switch recently.
You got to at least download it, man. It's free. It just takes up a few megabytes. Just fire it up.
I'm gonna have to download. I'm gonna have to delete something. I just don't play those arena style games. Like,
yeah, I like it. I mean, it's worth trying just because it's free. And what we're talking about is Star Wars Hunters. This is a game that has literally been in development for, it feels like, a decade. I believe as far back as Celebration Anaheim, which is probably 4 years ago or 3 years ago, something like that. And then it just kind of disappeared. And then I think it was like in March, like, oh yeah, Hunters is still a thing. It's coming out this summer. And by this point, both of us were like, hey, whatever. It's going to be stupid. I mean, usually free to play games made for mobile are dumb. I mean, they're not great. They don't feel like a full game. They don't feel AAA, quad A, whatever A's we use these days to talk about the quality of a video game. Whatever, really wasn't on my radar. And then yesterday it released, all the ads are coming up. And really, I got to credit Tones 1138 in our Discord. He's like, yo, anyone heard of this? Like, oh yeah, we talked about that. So I grabbed it on the Switch, was just farting around. I'm like, installed it, kind of went through the tutorials to open it. I'm like, you know, I kind of digging this. It's like, all right, yeah, you unlock this, you unlock that, power up this, zoom, you get this trooper, this character. It's like, before you know it, it becomes like a collector's dream where you keep working towards new unlocks and loot, and there's a great progression system, and the matches are super quick. And here is the kicker, Nick. And I doubt this is going to last as more players join. If they do join, I could also see this game being dead in a year. I'm fucking awesome at it. I am competitive at a video game again. I mean, Nick, I am not shitting around. My first 12 matches, I went 11-1.
Nice.
I was the top player in every match but the match we lost, like on both teams. And I'm going, what is this? Is this like fucking 22-year-old Matt reborn? What is going on? Or am I playing with a bunch of special people? Either way, it felt good to win and compete in a online shooter again. So Star Wars Hunters, fucking download it, right? The worst thing you can do is you're going to have to hit delete. Costs no money. So far, I haven't seen reason to pay outside of supporting the developer, which I may do just to unlock the season 1 Mando character. It seems, Nick, they're following the Fortnite model of pay. It's like, if you want to pay and get cosmetics and kind of work through the season tier quicker, go ahead. Otherwise, you can still get there. It's just going to take you longer. So I've got no problem with that model. I dig it. Yeah, Joe Coglin's saying turn off handicap mode. I'm going to have to look for that, because I was starting to question, like, Am I in the right matchmaking? I mean, did it put me in like preschool hunters? Because this isn't right. I mean, Nick, I'm playing at like midnight too, when all the dogs are online, you know, like all the teens, the 20-year-olds, the pros, and I'm just working through these motherfuckers like a pimp. So that's probably helping some of my excitement for this game. All right. So there you go. I am not paid by Zynga, nor did we get a review copy. I'm just genuinely pleased with the game, and if we weren't doing this, I'd be playing it right now. It actually works on a smartphone pretty well without syncing a controller, which you could do, but even the touchscreens, you can still be competitive. Yeah,
there's a couple games that I've played on mobile now that really are well adapted for like screen controls and stuff. It's pretty nice.
You know the best part, Nick, the smartest thing they did, you don't have to pull the trigger. Like as soon as your reticle hits a character, it just auto fires. I think that's
on phones.
Yeah. So like your left thumb is still your walking. Right thumb, you still move the screen, but you don't have to hit a virtual button to fire your gun. You just, as soon as the reticle hits an enemy, it just starts pop, 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 pop. I found that to be pretty nice little feature.
Interesting.
That's right, be mad, get good. The thing is, 11-year-olds should kick my ass. They would kick my ass in a Call of Duty. I don't know what's going on. I'm assuming it's because I'm playing with day one players, so there probably is a bunch of just Star Wars fan morons in there. I'll let people know next week how my next week of play goes. If I start tanking, I'm sure my love of this game will run dry quite quickly.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Like, I didn't even know it came out. So I'm surprised that there wasn't a little bit more like advertisement or anything around the release of this game. I remembered when we talked about it like 7-8 months ago, and then you were like, "Oh man, this game's awesome." I was like, "That game is out." So yeah, I'm just surprised that they didn't do any sort of like announcement.
Dude, it was kind of it felt like one of those redheaded stepchild games where even they weren't necessarily proud of it, and they're just like, yeah, we kind of slow walk this thing. Let's just fucking stealth release it and maybe get some suckers to pay us early on. But like I said, I think I've spent 2 or 3 hours with it. I'm probably going to give them the $10 or $20 for the season 1 pass, because I feel it's worth it, and I definitely want to get that Mando character. He looks pretty fucking sweet. All right, so there you go. Star Wars Hunters, not bad, free. Like I said, it's not going to hurt you. Yo, SW Props, glad he popped in. Got to give him a quick shout out. Nick, I know you're not on Instagram much, but this motherfucker, through what he's been doing the past few years with his business and his photography, this past week, he got to cover this Ahsoka, it was like FYC event for the Emmys or something, right? He's in the room with fucking Filoni, Hayden, Rosario, Natasha, Dave. Who else?
Hey.
Like pretty much any big player from Ahsoka. He's in the room with them, taking their pictures, and then getting pictures taken with them, pointing at his jacket, putting arms around them. Fucking Devin's in there with a big happy grin, like, oh, look at this shit. And I'm going, where's Matt? Where the fuck's Matt? Matt needs to move to California, that's for sure. Because those guys are killing it. Kudos to props. I mean, my goodness, you can't get any more in leagues with real Star Wars than what he's doing right now.
No, yeah,
that's
so amazing
stuff.
stuff.
I mean, I can remember years back when we interviewed him. He was, just would collect props. He did the signing thing. This really wasn't his deal, but over the past, what seems like year or two, he's established this autograph business with, some of the stunt people and the doubles, and that's got him into these events. And Jesus, little green with envy, not jealous, green with envy, but proud of those dudes for getting those opportunities. That's right, Bat. We have a lot of famous fans. We're just not famous ourselves. That's the problem. Because I don't know about young Nick, but old Matt staring at clouds would love to be going to these events and hobnobbing with Dave Filoni. There's no way I would let that opportunity go without me trying to pitch myself to work for him in some capacity, even if for free. So kudos to those guys. Glad to see Justin popping in there. All right, here we go. We are shot out of a cannon. It's only 30 minutes, and we've made it through our usual 45 minutes. That's good. That is good, Nick. That is good. All right, buddy. Did I miss anything, or is it time for the Acolyte?
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about the show.
All right, yeah, man. Let's get into it. This is a show Nick and I have been high on since day one because of the promise of getting a dark side focus. I'm not sure we're quite getting that yet, but we may be. I think it's kind of in our face. We're just not used to hearing dark side characters talk like normal characters. But Leslie and the bunch have been kind of teasing that. Like, you just got to watch and find out. And it's here. It's finally here. It's faced a lot of nonsense from the troll faction. I even had some friends last night like, oh, look at this. Starts out strong, cuts over, strong female lead, woke. I'm just like, man, you guys need help. Like, I just don't understand that argument at all, or why that even matters. And I'm like, hey, I don't get into woke stuff. And they're like, well, us either. But if they're going to go that route, why not make the character purple or blue? I'm like, dude, do you hear what you're saying? You're essentially saying because they chose a black female lead that it's woke, but if they made a purple or blue alien, that would be fine, and that'd be the same level as inclusion as including a female. And it's like, I wanted to say, well, what about Anakin and Obi-Wan's movies or Luke's movies? Why weren't they blue or purple people? Or why didn't you think blue or purple people need to be there instead of a white guy? So just admit you're racist, people. That's it. Like, I don't care that you think this stuff is woke. Quit saying woke and just say, I'm a racist fuckface. Okay? That's all we're asking for. All right? Thank you. But anyways, it was facing some shit. I'm sure the beards are out there. I was even telling Nick, some of the professional critics who usually just blow so much smoke up the anuses of shows like this, of creators like Leslie Headland, they're the ones that are being a little more salty and negative overall than I think even the troll faction of Star Wars fans. So we've seen it. I laid out my full breakdown and review that I'd love for all of you to go check out. I also got a Qimir theory that we'll expand upon here. But we'll start with Nick, since I already got mine out there in the ether. Then I'll kind of let you know how I feel. And then, hey, if you're new here, we both kind of give our thoughts. We then take a deep dive into some of the more nuanced scenes, top moments, Easter eggs, references, things you might have missed, and my favorite, the huhs of the episode. So, Nick, what'd you think of the Acolyte premiere?
I enjoyed it. I was very openly critical of twin shit in movies and film and TV. So I'm glad that they didn't try to turn the twin shit into this big mystery that there's, oh, she's a twin, huge reveal. I'm glad
we put them on the poster before it came out.
Yeah, I'm happy that they did that, because if they would have drug out the she has a twin part for too long, it would have just been like, okay, come on. But I'm glad that they got that out of the way early, and that's not something that we have to think about as like a plot point to this show. But I was a big fan. I'm a huge fan of how the fights were choreographed, especially the early fight with Indara. I like how the characters are playing out, and I like how there's this mystery kind of evolving around the two sisters. And I have my thoughts on that I'll put out after we do our general thoughts. But I was a fan. I think it was a much needed change for Star Wars, just in terms of the time period that the story is being told in and the style of storytelling. I feel like this show is a little different than most other Star Wars shows. It's not focused on like, it's not like super action heavy, even though we got some good action scenes, and it's not like, just chock-a-block full of legacy characters that we already know. So I really did enjoy the dynamic that has played out so far, and I'm really interested to see where the show progresses from here. But yeah, I mean, overall, I have no particular no issues with what's up there. I don't like, kind of like you said, nothing right out of the gate like wowed me, like, oh my god, this was amazing. But I think that the storytelling is solid. I think that the characters are really well done. And I think that they've built themselves a nice little mystery that we'll follow through with.
Yeah, I'm pretty much in line with what Nick is spitting here. And honestly, I think one of the reasons we didn't have any wow moments is because Lucasfilm and Disney just over fucking shared the living shit out of this series, especially episodes 1 and 2. I mean, my goodness. The twin thing aside, which was literally spoiled in the posters and pre-promotion, Amanda's like, I'm Osha, I'm May. It's like, all right, well, Nick and I, we were kind of guessing that months ago. I guess that's a done deal. So whatever. But they spoiled everything. I mean, the fight with Indara and her dying, they spoiled that in the trailer. Any major moment was in the trailer. So I think that was a disservice to this premiere, and probably one of the reasons why most of us didn't have any like, holy shit, did you see that type of vibe going on, which I was hoping for, but also doesn't mean that it was a bad premiere. It wasn't a bad premiere at all. In fact, I think it did its job quite well. And the fact that I really want to see what happens next. And it really, the story is being told just like Leslie said it would, where each episode adds more layers to the mystery and gets us closer and closer to resolving that mystery. So it's like, all right, let's go. I want to see where we're going next. We're clearly going to KOTOR to check in on Kalnaka, and that's probably, we're going to get the lightsaber whip there and some other shit. Maybe we'll get the flashbacks to learn more about what actually happened on Brendok with the 4 Jedi, the witches, the twins, the fire. So I think the mystery building is great. Lots of intrigue there. I did feel at times, and I think this might be purposeful, that it channeled the prequel vibes a little too much. There was some wooden dialogue at times, especially with the Jedi conversations. And again, it might be purposeful. I really think the world looked great. I think Leslie's choice to go no volume is paying off. And really, Nick, tons of practical aliens, which was great to see. Yeah. No CG heads. It's all the old rubber mask type of stuff. And I came away with a surprise. I never thought that Qimir, someone teased as, like a scoundrel type, a traitor, would be the most intriguing and, to me, the most mysterious character at the end of this premiere. I really, and we'll touch on him in a bit. That dude is not who he is portraying himself to be 100%. So I like that because, like Nick said, the twin thing, that was never going to be the big twist. I do think where the twist is going to come with Qimir, May, Osha, and the Master. There's something going on there that is not what it seems, and will definitely be different by episode 8. It was a good premiere. It did its job, got me hooked. It was a bit lackluster in terms of, oh wow, water cooler moments, but that, again, that's not a sign of a bad show. So I dig it. Can't wait to see where things go. I absolutely popped wood seeing a Jedi in live action use the Force. That is going to be one of our top moments for sure. So there were some fun moments, just none like, I don't know, maybe a Baby Yoda reveal. You know what I mean, Nick? It's like that's kind of what I was looking for. Not necessarily a reveal, but a feeling like, oh my goodness, I had no clue that's where this show was going. But
well,
I think that goes back to
maybe I'll say something that may give you a little.
All right. I think it still goes back to the oversharing of content for the series. And I think that it was a knee-jerk reaction to fans going, fuck Acolyte. They're like, well, here, look, and it's too many looks, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure. I really do think that they overshared, and you really didn't need to. I mean, maybe they were worried about like series adoption because there was such a negative sentimentality around the show even before it fucking had anything dropped about it, because Star Wars fans are immature people. But yeah, I mean, I kind of question that too, because we did hit a lot of like big points in that already. But yeah, I mean, I think the only thing for me that was like, well, why didn't they just do this like a head scratcher moment was when they were in the shop with Qimir. They literally like they had so much information on this dude. They knew that this dude made the poison that May used to kill the Jedi Master. They knew that this dude knew of May's master when he said he. They knew that they knew that he knew so many things.
And Soul's like, we'll let you go with a warning.
Yeah, they were like, whatever, dude, just like tell us this. And I was like, you know that this guy is as deeply involved as physically possible, and you literally just let him go.
There's their hubris kicking in already.
Yeah. So it's like that was the only moment where I was like, okay, like I understand that like they're trying to show the single-mindedness of the Jedi, but like, come on, man, like this could you could have arrested this dude and it wouldn't have been that bad.
Yeah,
like
that is a great point. Another oddity, Nick, and I guess I'll just get into it now, is one of my ha's, but you know, at the end of episode 1, who we think is the master, the dude, toothless Kylo Grin, courtesy of 1/6 shooter. You know, he's doing that voiceover, and here I wrote it down just so we have it in full. The Jedi live in a dream they believe everyone shares. If you attack a Jedi with a weapon, you will fail. Unless it's Jedi Master Andara. Steel or laser are no threat to them, but an Acolyte kills without a weapon. An Acolyte kills the dream. So his first line is kind of an oxymoron, because I guess what he's saying, Nick, is like, you can't truly become an Acolyte until you kill a Jedi without a weapon. That's what he was saying, right?
I don't.
But he's also saying you can't, if you attack a Jedi with a weapon, you will fail, and she did, and she won.
I don't think that that's what he was getting at. I think that what he was getting at is like, if you're going to fucking charge at a Jedi with a red lightsaber and just expect to beat them one-on-one, it ain't going to happen. You have to use more than your physical strength.
But did you notice, even with Qimir, they're like, I need to kill someone without a weapon. Even when May comes, or Osha comes back faking her, he's like, oh, you did it without the poison, meaning a weapon. Because it seems that is a caveat that the master wants from his Acolyte, is you must kill a Jedi weaponless. It's referred again when she confronts Soul, and he's like, why are you fighting me without a weapon, essentially? So there is something to it. It just, the first line, or the second line's weird. Like, if you attack a Jedi with a weapon, you will fail. And that's exactly what May did.
Yeah. I mean, but also she didn't beat Indara with a weapon. She beat Indara with her mind. Like, she beat Indara because she knew that
she's a Jedi.
If she attacked that guy, which, I mean, you could say, yeah, like, she's a Jedi, but she knew if it was a choice between her life or that bartender's, Indara was going to stop the blade going to that bartender. And that's how she won. Like, she didn't beat her with a weapon. She beat her with her mind. And yeah, she used a little knife to stab her in the heart, but realistically, she could have fucking snapped her neck or done whatever else she wanted to do.
Well, that's another Nick. Apparently, Jedi can die from chest wounds after all.
Yeah, I guess they just can't be cauterized.
That's right. You can't use a laser sword, but if you use just straight daggers, you can get the job done.
And I mean, like, she didn't really kill what was the floating guy's name again?
Torben.
Torben.
Yeah.
She didn't really kill him with a weapon either. Like, she killed him with guilt. Like,
yeah, the poison was technically the weapon.
Yeah, like, but she didn't use it. He did.
Right.
He killed himself. So, like, that's another dub because she didn't use a weapon to kill him. She was like, here, look, here's some poison. I'm not going to do anything to you. You know what you did wrong. You know why you have chosen this vow of silence and to sequester yourself from everybody else. So instead of trying to pray yourself to some sort of salvation, end your suffering now because you know what you've done. So I think that Torben more than Indara, but Torben for sure, she didn't do shit. She guilted that dude into killing himself.
Yeah, no, he wanted to kill himself. I mean, well, I'll talk about in the eggs, but he took the Barash vow, Nick, which essentially means the Jedi are in that trance for the rest of their life. Yeah, and it's a form of penitence for committing an act they considered to be egregious. And as you heard him say, he's like, I was expecting you. We thought we were doing the right thing. And like you said, he willingly is like, fuck it. Finally, I'm free. So that's the interesting story about the Acolyte. What the fuck happened on Brendok with the four Jedi, the twins, and the witches? Because that's where all this shit is stemming from. And clearly Torben was greatly affected by those events. And now I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there. Again, trailer's ruining it. We see Torben get possessed in the flashback, and we also see Kalnaka fighting someone with a blue lightsaber. Considering Torben's face is all clawed up and Kalnaka has sequestered himself by himself, Kalnaka pretty much mad claws or becomes a mad claw because he whips him out on Torben's face. And if you know what that means in the Wookiee religion, if you will, if you're a mad claw, you're essentially an outcast of society and you have to exile. So something happened that night on Brendok with the twins, with Torben, with those four Jedi. And I just want to know what! Like, even with the trailer, it's like, damn it. But hey, it's a sign of a good mystery story, right, Nick?
Yeah, no, that is the most intriguing part of this is like we've gotten so many little references to this incident, this fire that kind of separated Osha and May, and that's kind of where everything stems from. So I'm really interested to see how all of this comes together.
Something super shady went down on Brendok, much more so than what we've been hearing from the people involved. And I have a feeling the Jedi probably have a hand in it, and or the witches themselves. All right, well. That takes us through our thoughts on there. So I guess I'll start walking us through some top moments, or at least ones I identified. Nick, as always, if I miss one, go ahead and scream it out there. I'm sure I have a screenshot. I'd take fucking 200 of them. But honestly, even though it was super overplayed, I still found the Indara May duel to be quite an enjoyable action moment to watch. I mean, it was in the pre-run for the Phantom Menace. It's been all over the trailer, so we more or less knew the entire match, including the outcome. We just didn't know exactly how she killed her, which we got to see. And Nick was right. I mean, and that's what I loved about this fight. It was a ballet that Indara was definitely controlling, but May knew if she used her Jedi tendencies against her, she could get the edge, and that's ultimately what she did. And May was never going to beat Indara in a physical fight. It took compromising the life of an innocent for May to win, and I'm still surprised a master of her skill was not able to not look at the dagger and just stop it and keep your focus on your attacker. But hey, it is a science fiction fantasy show after all, so sometimes we just gotta let that shit slide. But I loved it. It was a great action scene. Like you said, the force foo was on display. May's force ninja shit, like how she was using the daggers, using the patrons as weapons or defensive mechanisms. It was just great to see, and Carrie-Anne Moss was fantastic. Like League was saying in our Discord, if you want to join the Discord, we got an open link. Hit it up. Oh, by the way, if you want to do the live streams, 5 p. East, youtube.com/Star Wars Time Show. But what League was saying is like, hey, the writers knew they had 4 Jedi to work with. Why the fuck did we start with Carrie-Anne's?
Yeah, you know? I mean...
Couldn't we start with the Wookiee maybe, or Torben?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like we're still going to get more Carrie-Anne because we're going to have flashback moments. So she, we're not done with Trinity yet. But it did suck that it's like, man, everybody was super psyched to see her in Star Wars.
Well, we called it. I mean, we told everyone she's gonna be dead in the first 5 minutes, and that's exactly what happened. So
yeah,
but we will see her again in the Brendock flashback for sure, as the trailers have spoiled. So don't worry, she'll be back in a younger form. I did like how they gave her those. I don't know if those are tattoos on her eye, Nick, or if that's like just her species. That was a nice little touch. Yeah, for Jedi Master Trinity there.
Visual flair.
Yeah, Divided Skywalker saying the reason Carrie-Anne wasn't on all the call sheets because she probably cost the most. So
yeah, it's true.
Yeah, she's like, all right. Leslie's like, okay, well, look at Carrie-Anne's asking fee. Yeah, you're going to be the first one to die. Kelnaka, you're just some dude in a costume. We don't have to pay you shit, so you'll get to live at least to episode 3, maybe 4. And Soul, we need you to carry the movie to the end, so you're at least going to make it to 8.
Yeah, he'll make it as far as they need. Yeah, he'll go as far as they have.
Hey, this is a good question from BMAD, and I do think it is. Was this the first Star Wars suicide, Nick?
I think so. I think it's the first Star Wars canon suicide ever. I do believe
like
so. Not
straight suicide. I mean, Kanan sacrificed himself. It wasn't a I mean,
yeah. I mean, it's a suicide. But it's also like I don't like when you sacrifice yourself for somebody else, which has happened multiple times in Star Wars. You've had sacrifices and shit like that. So maybe maybe those count, but like this one feels like it wasn't in service of anything. I'll put it that way.
It was just like, you're right. I need to die. I was a bad person. See you later.
Yeah, so he just like he literally like drank the Kool-Aid and just peaced out. But yeah, I do think that like in terms of how like we think of a traditional suicide in real society, like that's as close as we've come. For sure.
I agree. And here he is laying on the floor all dead. I'll be honest with you. I don't know. Like, I'm sure he's a good actor. Whoever did his aging should not have a job. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they like the I feel like this was another one where like this motherfucker's gonna be in the show for 5.5 minutes. We ain't doing nothing. We're giving him some scars, and then we're giving him a receding hairline, and that's it. Like,
well, we see him in the flashback. He's a nice-looking young man, but somehow 10 years later, he's fucking all weird, bald, and goofy
maybe
looking.
That's just like the tax of the Barash vow. I have
there
idea.
you go. Just sitting in that pose for 10 years straight must do a number on the system here.
Ben Kenobi was the first, but again, like Ben.
But Vader still technically, I guess made the stroke.
I mean, Kenobi was literally like, just kill me, motherfucker. Like, he didn't do it. It's not like we haven't had like a
if Kenobi yes. If Kenobi took his blue blade and was like, Hoya! I'd be like, yes, I could count that.
Yeah, but again, like that was also in service to, that was a sacrifice in service to Luke to allow him to escape for sure. So again, like sacrifice and suicide is a really hard thing to differentiate. I would consider them different things because there is a express purpose for one of them, whereas the other one is much more deeply rooted in personal and so I consider those different things.
I'm looking at Master 2 again. I'm just like, who went? Yeah. It looks like he looks aged. No, he looks like a young man with a fucking old man wig on. It's like, what the hell? Yeah. Oh well, he's too frail looking too. I'm sorry, fuck that. And this I'll get in trouble for. But how about we had a beefy Jedi, Nick, on Olega?
I know, right? That was the first time. But it also like I looked at the Olega stuff as like, this is the commentary on how soft the Jedi Order has gotten. Yeah. Look how raggedy these guys look. I mean, they're wearing like carpets for robes and shit. Like these Olega Jedi, the ones manning the temple there, they're definitely not as well off as Sol and the rest coming from the Coruscant temple. Yeah. So like, I looked at that as like, okay, so this is like commentary on like the Jedi in certain regions of the galaxy are just like
they got scammed by a vagabond kid.
Yeah, like yeah.
Like they literally All May needed to do was give a kid like a melon fruit to scam the door guard, and that was it. It's like, okay.
Yeah. And I was like, dude, this is a fucking Jedi temple. This is the easiest security to get
like,
around.
No
are
problem.
You kidding me?
Then she's just walking through the halls, no problem.
Yeah.
Oh well, hey, can't win them all.
Anyway,
Maybe
he's the chef at the Jedi temple.
There you go. Oh, look at this, Nick. Some of our SWTS channel members have upgraded their icons. Have upgraded. That's right. They're on the next version of Darth Vader cat. So kudos to I think Nova Toy Bat. I guess League. Any first day signups are probably
any of the
there.
OGs, any of the originals.
What did you think about this one? Then we'll kind of get back to some moments. But coming from 1/6 shooter here, X-23's makeup was very Trek: The Next Generation.
It honestly, it did feel really Star Trek.
I think the wig is not right. Or is it the face spikes?
I don't know, because I don't think we've ever seen a Star Wars character that has like a head feature, like head tails or spikes.
She's technically the same race as that alien Boba Fett flirts with in the special edition Return of the Jedi.
Oh, I guess she does have like hair lower down.
But it's isn't it kind of like a mohawk, like a pink mohawk sort of thing?
That's what I was going to say. Is like the hair had never really, from what I remember, didn't really interact with the head spikes. But I think that's the weird thing is like
spikes.
It's the spikes that with the hair that's kind of covering.
Yeah,
them.
I don't know. She's got like it's like a quasi mullet thing.
Yeah, the hairstyle itself, and then you got the rat tail for the Padawan on there too.
I don't get me wrong. I like Jackie Lon. I think she's a cool Padawan. She doesn't seem like just a dopey idiot, and I like that she makes fun of Yord, who is a dopey idiot. And more on him in a second. But yeah, I could see that. I mean,
even Yord's. I don't know if it was his Padawan or whatever. Like the girl that he initially talks to.
Yeah, Tassie Loa. She's a Zygerian, which is the first time they've been in live action.
It like that. She also looked more Trek to me than Star Wars because it like what Trek does a lot is like those forehead pieces where like the rest of their face is normal.
It's funny because that's kind of what Trevor's saying. Like, hey, big budget, make it better. But there's also people who are like, hey, we want practical aliens, not CG. So this is just one of these other things where people are never going to be happy.
Yeah, I mean, I also think that the makeup job was good, but it's like, how much do you do makeup and then you do CG on top of it? It's just hard to figure out the right way to do it.
Yeah, nothing that really ruins the show. I mean, I think the thing that sucked the most air out of the premiere was just the oversharing of content, to be honest. All right. Someone had a good comment in here. Nova Toymation, I will give you that. Amandla has done an incredible job in this so far. Great actor, kind of playing the two roles. Not bad.
Yeah.
It does seem, and I don't know, maybe let's get to the top moments. I got plenty of ha's that are going to take us on some tangents, so we'll get there. All right. Next top moment I had, Nick, we're still in episode 1 here, and it just felt very Star Warsy to me, but I really enjoyed the prison ship breakout crash. Mm-hmm. It was just like a Star Wars circus. It was very frenetic. I like the cast of characters in there. I mean, the fact that the droids turned into chairs was another highlight of this scene.
That was so funny to me. I was like, dude, that's so creative that like nobody that hadn't been done before.
That was really awesome. Good. How about this guy? He's like a wannabe, or he's like a mega lobot. I mean, he took out his eyes, his mouth, his ears, everything. He was pretty cool looking. I mean, they did have some really great looking practical costumes, makeup, aliens, you name it. The shark guy that sucks the what was his name? The warden droid over. I don't know. It was just fun. Like they all run, they get the escape pod, which hey, sound and look just like our escape pods from the Tantive 4 from A New Hope. So that was neat. She does the right thing, saves a guy, he ditches her, gets an escape. It was just, I don't know. It was fun. It was chaos.
Good.
It was a cool little scene.
It reminded me a couple of things. It reminded me of the first Pirates when Jack Sparrow's like locked up in prison and like with all the other people except he's in a different cell. They're all trying to get out. And then that fucking cannonball comes through the wall and everybody else gets out but him. And he's like, oh, fuck.
Yes.
And then it also reminded me of Spaceballs at the end.
Yeah,
At the end of
exactly.
Spaceballs, when everybody's running to the escape pods. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It was fun. It was a fun scene, and OSHA was really going through some shit to try and save herself and save some convicts. So
yeah.
I kind of dug it. Moving into the second episode, Nick, some scenes that stood out to me. And again, I know it was kind of weird. Like, Torben was very odd looking. But I'm not going to lie. I loved the first interaction we saw between him and May, where she's trying to break through his force shield, more or less. 'Cause that's really nothing we've seen before, where a Jedi is literally just tuned the fuck out, floating in the air, and they're untouchable by another person's physical touch. Like, you can't get through it. It's like I said in my review, the droidicas ain't got shit on Jedi Master Torben's shield, so
they can't touch it. I wonder if that's just a part of the barrage vow, though.
It is.
Like, if it locks you in.
What I read, Nick, I think I wrote it down here because I'm a fucking weirdo. But this is from the High Republic era, actually. Like, this is something that came up in the High Republic era. And they do it, like I said, Jedi will take the Barash vow because they feel it would be like Christians beating themselves with cattails back in the day. Like, hey, I did my religion wrong. Now I need to serve a penance, more or less. But what they do, Nick, they just fully become one with the Force, and they're like in just direct communion with it at all times, like 24/7. Yeah. So and they're kind of in just a Force bubble that is impenetrable, as May found out, and Qimir kind of touched on.
Yeah, but they can clearly hear. They can they have some sort of interaction or like awareness of the outside world.
It's like an ultra deep meditation.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Go ahead. Has the dream scene happened yet? Because I think that's very important, but we can come back to it. Like, not the dream scene, the one where the two kid Mays, she sees the kid. Okay.
Yeah, I don't have that as a top moment, but it's definitely something I want to discuss because I'm getting some quasi dyad vibes from these two.
Yeah, so that's exactly what. All right,
we'll definitely get there. Let's just get through this last top moment, then we can start really riffing on some of the nitty gritty. But this one, super quick, no meat to it, but I'll tell you what, man. Seeing a Wookiee come out and raise his arm in live action to use the Force and snap a gun in half, that was pretty fucking cool. I'm sorry.
That was sick, man.
He just shows up. He's like, get off my fucking lawn. See ya. He doesn't even pursue him. He just keeps walking through his front door. It's fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, ever since I had heard about Lobaka and found out about Lobaka, I was like, man, I really hope that there's a Jedi, like a Wookiee Jedi in live action at some point. We fucking finally got it.
Get Cal Naka, and he's like, I believe my theory here, and I don't think it's far off because you would know better than me. Wasn't Zalbar labeled a Mad Claw?
Yeah, that's why he was exiled.
Is Chrysanthemum a Mad Claw?
I'm not 100% sure about that one.
But from what I've picked up, if you're a Wookiee, you don't want to be a Mad Claw. It's the biggest form of dishonor and disgrace you can do as a Wookiee is use your claws on another being. Because
I think that that came up. Was it Clone Wars? I think it came up in an animated series or something like that, where somebody like a Wookiee was wrongfully pronounced a Mad Claw because somebody framed him or something like that. Or maybe I'm making that shit up, but I do remember a storyline that somebody was incorrectly tagged as a Mad Claw. I mean, maybe it was. I can't remember.
Either way, if you're a Wookiee and you're a Mad Claw, you essentially go into exile. So like we said earlier, and sadly it's from the trailers, I do believe once Torben gets whatever fuckery the witches are doing to him, if it's the witches, Cal Naka's the one that kind of battles him, and he ultimately is the one that scratched his face, and that's why Torben looks the way he does, and that's why Cal Naka is in exile on KOFOR.
Yeah.
Devin, that's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm pretty sure those claw marks are from this guy right here if you're on the stream. So
yeah, probably so.
All right, and then sorry, we got to get through the eggs, then we'll do the good stuff. Okay. And, you know, there's... I really don't look hardcore anymore because I just don't give a shit. But I did like that we kind of started with a bit of an opening crawl. It wasn't crawling, but it was there. We had words, and we did get the pan down. So
setting the scene.
That's very Star Wars like. Another good one here. We knew we were going to be there again from the trailers, but Nemoidians return, and guess what? They're slightly less Asian racist sounding. So. That was nice.
I was listening for that too, and I was like, okay, they didn't like fully lean into like the
what did you say? There's none of that stuff. Like, oh, so that was good. Hey, there was a female too, right? I think that's the first time we got a female Nemoidian in there.
Like the assistant, or maybe there was a female Nemoidian in episode 1, but it was hard to tell because they were speaking through that like rebreather thing.
Yeah,
I can't remember, but I didn't know if that was female or not. But yeah, for sure the assistant was a female.
The one in this definitely is, because once her buddy is about to get Jedi mind fucked for fun, she's like, "Oh no, here you go, just go down here."
Yeah, bump 24.
We'll talk about the Jedi soon, because I think Nick and I were pretty spot on. Him in particular, the Jedi are going to be. You're going to understand why the galaxy had no problem with the Jedi being genocided at the end of the Clone Wars. And I think we've seen it quite perfectly play out in just 2 episodes.
100%. Like, it's so easy to see already why there is a dislike for the Jedi that's starting to.
I mean, you know what? Since we're here, dude, let's just riff on this one real quick. I wrote down Jedi comfortable enough using the Force at will, like when dude was lying about the ship escape. I mean, even before that, Yord walks into the Nemoidians. Oh, you're not going to tell me what I want? Okay, I'll fucking fish it out of your head. Soul. Oh, you're lying to me. Zee! Now you're not. It's just, it's wild how liberal they are with their use of the Force, except when it comes to potentially abducting a Sith apprentice in Qimir. Then they just charge him with a warning and slap him on the wrist.
Yeah, it's like, oh, this dude who clearly seems like he knows about some mysterious dark side figure and is in league with the person that just poisoned the Jedi Master. We let this motherfucker go, but we're going to suck the answers out of this person's head, no problem.
You did call it. Did you not feel like the Jedi were somewhat bullish?
They are. They're definitely in an area or in a place where they feel comfortable overstepping their bounds, even when it comes to like a person, like using the Force on an innocent person. We didn't even see that shit done in the Galactic Republic in the prequel timeline.
Bro, I don't even think Anakin Skywalker did that shit.
No, the only time that we actually saw somebody that's happened in live action that we saw somebody pull answers from somebody's head was in TFA, and it was
Kylo Ren.
It's crazy because I'm going to say this, and maybe some people will get fucking pissed, but whatever. They seem like they're like cops, they're bad cops that are just like abusing their power. And it's like, fuck, that's really a commentary on what happens when your authority system feels like they're untouchable. And that's kind of what the Jedi feel like right now.
Well, dude, I mean, it really is playing out the way we speculated, because did you notice in some of the conversations between Vernestra and Soul, they're literally like, hey, we can't let this shit out. Can you imagine the bad politics? They even say it. Can you imagine the bad politics?
It wasn't even subtext. It was just text. They just said it. And that's so fucking crazy. That is the mindset that era of Jedi were in. They weren't concerned about what's right, what's wrong. They weren't concerned about we have to do the right thing here. They're literally like, shit, you know how bad this will look? I'm up for fucking elections in the Jedi Temple again next year.
Vernestra literally goes to Soul, do you know how bad it will look for us if our adversaries find out that one of our own is killing our own? So let's keep this shit quiet. Everyone making fun of us the Jedi would completely sweep the shit on the rug. No, they wouldn't. No, bull fucking shit.
Right there.
Just watch Star Wars. But Nick, we didn't have to watch this show. If you actually know Star Wars and you're not just some dumb idiot that just looks at the flashy swords, you understand that the galaxy had no love for this order. We laid it out there, I believe, in our pre-recorded cast, for Christ's sakes. I mean, you don't, if you're a benevolent order that everyone loves, you don't have the entire galaxy cheer your downfall.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you didn't see, like, when the Jedi Temple was being besieged, did the people run to their fucking defense?
They're like, good,
No.
Good.
Everybody was like,
I've been wanting to do it myself, but I don't got that power.
Yeah, like they were happy to let it happen. Nobody gave a fuck. And then when Palpatine announces it in the Senate, everybody starts clapping.
Yeah, like, yay.
Except Padme and Bail Organa. They're like, oh, okay.
But it is, I kind of want to, as always, give ourselves a pat on the back.
We called that shit for sure.
Come on, people, give us the trophy. Come on, I want to see it in the
chat.
Jedi
fuckery, I'm telling you right now, we'll get into it.
It's only going to get worse.
The Jedi fuckery ain't finished yet.
No.
It's not even close.
It's only going to get worse. Like I think it's going to come down to exactly what we said, where all this shit's going to play out in the open. A lot of people are going to die, and then they're going to make a pact. Like, nope, we ain't saying shit.
Yeah,
we ain't saying shit. Don't tell the little green guy, especially, because he's trouble.
There's a very specific reason that these 4 Jedi, like, we already know Mace hunting them for a reason, but the reason that you're gonna find out is probably gonna be fucked up, and you're gonna be like, wow, this is like, Leslie told us that this show was gonna give us a different perspective on how the galaxy views the Jedi. This is the first 2 episodes, and we're already like, man, these Jedi are kind of, they're squirrely. Like, there's some shit wrong with them. And we're only 2 episodes in, and we haven't even gotten to the big shit yet.
Yeah.
So
I like it. I really do like this approach and how they are being. And listen, this isn't Nick and I saying, yes, these are evil people. It's just it's a culmination of thousands of years of peace and tranquility that this is the hubris that Luke talks about. They've literally started to believe their own legends. They do believe their own legends, and that's why this darkness is going to be able to rise and has been rising for hundreds of years before this. The Sith are just a little more patient, as we discussed.
Yeah.
But that's the good stuff. That's why we like this series. And hey, listen, I get a lot of you. It did not really wow me either with a moment, but I think narratively, it's on point. Like, I really want to keep finding out about this Brendok fire mystery and how everyone's involved and what the outcome's going to be. All right, good stuff there. What was that? We're on eggs. Yeah, we got the escape pods. That was always fun. I love that sound, and they look the same. We got 5 planets introduced here, Nick, and 4 of them were brand new. 1 was not. Yep. The snow planet Karlak was actually from Clone Wars, a Friend in Need episode. I believe that's the one with Ahsoka and Lux Bantari. So that was the only repeated planet. The new planets, and I think Mando Pirate was asking about this. Don't worry, buddy. I'm that type of guy. I write them down and I verify they're new. We had Ueda, which is where Endara died. Brendok, which is the kind of the root of the narrative. Olega, where the Jedi Temple was at, and then right at the end, where our boy was at, Mr. Hare, Kofor. So lots of new planets being introduced, which is also cool. But, a woman's in charge of the series, so we can't celebrate that. Other eggs. Blah, 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 blah. I got those. Yep, got that. Okay, we kind of, and this is technically an egg, and I know we want to talk about this, so we'll get into it right now. Just let me cue up the shots here, Nick. But we got an alternate take on the Force walkie-talkie from the sequels. And the reason I say alternate, or I may call it a perverted version of the dyad, and I'm not saying it's like a pervert, I'm saying it's a perverted version as not natural. Okay, does that make sense to people that understand words can mean different things? All right, cool. So yes, I feel like there's some Force walkie-talkie going on, and it does feel very dyad-like, especially the things they were saying to each other, Nick, which I do have written down. May states, "You're with me and I'm with you, always one but born as two. As above sits the stars and below lies the sea, I give you you and you give me me."
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, what the hell? It's very dyad-y, but the key difference that we learn is May cannot reciprocate. May is not actively talking through the Force walkie-talkie. So, Nick, it almost feels like someone, kind of like in the sequels, it might be pushing these visions to Osha.
Yeah, it could definitely be something like that, something similar to what was happening between Kylo and Rey. And I do think, like, when you hear that, I mean, obviously that's both in reference to twins, like, because when you're a twin, you're born, like, your DNA is identical. You are one born as two. Like,
One, two, Freddy is coming for you.
Yeah.
Good job,
So,
Matt.
like,
Yeah.
so that's just like the biological like description of twins, but it is also like a definite reference to a dyad. And I do think that, like, you know, if we're ready to get into speculation, I can throw some out there. But like, if you really think about not only this, so you get this from the dream, or like, you know, the two kid sequence where you have this little poem that describes both them as twins and then a potential dyad, one as two, which is what Kylo and Rey were. And then if you think about this, just the small interaction, it was tiny. But it was so important when Soul sees May, and then May, and that exchange goes, and May's like, Osha's dead. You told me Osha's dead. And then Soul says that she's alive. So Soul has met both of them and lied to both of them. So what I really think happened is...
Yeah, but Soul was the one who's saying was May was dead.
No, Soul tells Osha that May died. Soul sees May.
Well, even Osha herself said, no, we saw her die.
I know, but that's not what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Soul is talking to May.
Right.
In the streets of Olega.
So May, and basically the twins both thought their other twin died.
The other one was dead.
Okay.
But the problem with that is that they both know Soul, and Soul told both of them that their sibling was dead. So what I think happened is, I don't know what happened on Brendok. Like, from what Osha said, May set the fire and then ran off, and then that was it. And then she died. But what likely happened is something with those 4 Jedi. Like, they either stoked whatever caused that fire and then tried to salvage it the best that they could, or that, like, because of the expansion of the galaxy that was going on, I don't know when they were, like, I don't know if Brendok was like newly discovered by the Jedi. They were there, and then there was also a dark side presence there, and then something happened. But here's what I think happened with the 2 of these kids. They both thought each other were dead. They both were clearly trained by Jedi. So here's what happened. They took both of them, and neither one of them knew. They trained Osha in public. Like, they trained Osha underneath the standard Jedi training, which is how she knew all the other Jedi when they came to find her. And she was friendly with them. But they trained May in seclusion and separately, and it went wrong. And they both ended up leaving, but they both thought the other one was dead, which is why both of them know Soul. Both of them were trained by Jedi, and both of them think that their sister is dead because the Jedi separated them from each other, trained them separately as Jedi, or tried to train them separately as Jedi, and they both went off. And there's no other way that I can see that happen. Like, why would May know Soul at all?
Well, here's what I'll say. I have a slightly different take, just based on what I saw in trailer footage. Just because we even see Soul and the young, who we think is Osha, running through the burning streets of Brendok in one of the trailers. And some of the dialogue we got in this episode Osha literally says, May killed my family. May took everything from me. So
yeah, because it's almost the Jedi lied to her.
It's almost like all right, well, let me finish. It was almost like she witnessed it all. Like, she saw May start the fire, whether May started it or not. I don't think it's the Jedi that corrupted May. I think it's her mom. Because it's clear now, Mother Anasaya is the mother of the twins. And she is a witch. And from what we've heard this witch saying, she's pretty much telling her girls, like, listen, these fuckers can't tell you how to be special or use your powers. So I think I really think Osha and the Jedi, Soul and whatnot, they thought May perished during the Brendok disaster.
But how does May know who Soul is, and how does Soul know who May is?
You missed that. You must have missed that they were 8 when she got picked up the train. So they were both there. They decided to take Osha over May,
and then didn't take May. Okay.
Correct.
Well,
yeah.
I just don't I don't have that. Then why? Then why did they lie to each other?
Well,
it just doesn't make any sense.
Maybe the choice to take her over May is what caused May to go crazy and burn shit down, or maybe the mother used that as an excuse to pop things off. We still got to figure out why Torben gets possessed by the witches during what seems like the handing off of the Padawan ceremony from the trailer. So
I don't know. I mean, maybe so, but it just seems weird that they lied to both of them about the same exact thing.
I disagree on the lying. I truly think Soul and Osha thought May died in the Brendok disaster.
But then why did Soul tell May that Osha died? That's what May said. May said it in the episode.
No, I think May said Oshi's dead. All right, I'll have to, someone pull it up.
She's like, she's dead. You told me. And then he said, Osha's alive.
No, I don't know. I'll have to re-listen to that. But I don't. Who knows? I don't see it that way. It could play out that way. And also,
it would be the most funny thing ever is if they took the show that's all about representation and made the group of black women the villain. It's just not going to happen. Come on, use a brain.
Come on, let's get woke.
They told us that the enemies or that the shitty people in this show are going to be the Jedi. So just get ready for it to be that the Jedi are the reasons for it.
I don't know, man. I just the witch angle, the dialogue we've heard from the mother. She might have had some other designs for her twins, if you will. But yeah, there's something weird going on with these twins and their connection. And
Devin could have some. If dyad members are always in the same place in a way, maybe they can't fully die if the other one's still alive. It could be that was also the fucking Harry Potter thing too.
Right.
There was the Harry Potter prophecy.
Yeah, I feel like someone got a hold of May after this disaster and used it to kind of fuel her revenge.
Oh, I mean, definitely so. She was the other option of what happened is that fucking Osha was taken by the Jedi and then May was taken by whoever this dark side person is, and they were trained separately.
Here's the funny thing, Nick, and this is where I can almost see them doing a reversal by the end of the show. Who seems more angry and unstable at this point in time? Osha or May?
I think that May is just on a mission, and then Osha is just, I think that right now Osha is definitely unstable because there's a lot that's happening around her that she is finding out doesn't match up with what she's been told by the Jedi. She's questioning a lot of the things around.
When her and Soul are talking on Olega about the night mission, she's like, I should be the one to confront her. And he's like, listen, I didn't think you'd still be this angry, so no. So this is a thing that she's always suffered from. This anger of what may or not have done back on Brendok. So she seems to be slipping a bit. Although she missed on purpose, right?
Yeah, 100%.
That's pretty clear. Those 100%. Stun shots were wide right and a little high and left for some reason.
You're believing the lies of these Jedi, Matt. Just remember what Anakin Skywalker told you at the end of Episode 3. You're buying into the Jedi bullshit.
But it just seems like Osha might have more of a dark chip on her shoulder because even when May pulls up, she gets all bubbly and Oshi. It's you, yay! I'm supposed to be the dark one, but I'm actually way more bubbly. But also,
she's been told that May was the one who killed her whole family. So wouldn't you be pretty pissed too? That's the
what I'm saying is
she's being lied to.
What I'm saying is May seems more positive and in a better place than Osha.
Yeah, exactly, because May wasn't told that Osha killed your whole family, but Osha was told that May killed your whole family. So Osha's going to be super pissed at May.
Well, Osha saw May kill her family.
That's what she thinks she saw. Okay. She was an 8-year-old kid.
We need to get that fucking flashback because we're about to have a pissing match here on the Star Wars Time show.
Yeah, because the thing is when you're an 8-year-old child, trauma fucks you up so bad that you don't realize it for you may not realize it for your whole fucking life. And all you do is believe what the people in authority tell you what happened.
All right.
You're 8 years old. Your whole village is on fire. You have no idea what the fuck happened. And then also it was referenced by Qimir. He's like, don't do that mind wipey shit on me. You don't think that they use that on Osha or May?
All right. Hey.
Like there's a lot of shit that has already been hinted at to show that the Jedi are fucking around here and causing a lot of inconsistencies with probably what really happened. So it would not be surprising to me if it comes to light that this memory that Osha has of seeing her sister dead and seeing her sister start that fire is not what really happened.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Torben literally says, hey, we thought we were doing the right thing.
Yep.
So I don't know. Listen, I'm not gonna shit on the kid. I can't line it up yet. He may have me though. I'm gonna have to go rewatch the dialogue between Sol and May. I'm usually have an iron trap mind with this type of shit. So
maybe I'm off, or maybe I was just like, maybe the context of the conversation just hit me more clearly because of like all of the other stuff that I was putting together. But yeah,
I wouldn't be disappointed. I feel like they'd have to do a lot more gymnastics to pull that off, to have like a secret Jedi Order training a girl in secret.
Well, that's why she wants to kill those specific 4, because those 4 were the ones that were training her separately from everybody else.
But Sol had Osha.
But Osha was being trained with everybody else. So Sol was training everybody else.
But that was his direct Padawan. Like, this is actually, what did you think about him keeping a hologram of I don't want to call her disgraced Padawan, but I mean, she willingly left the Order. Like, what's that attachment, that Master Jedi?
It's because he knows that there's something, like, if it was just the Jedi who left the Order, but who the fuck cares? But he also knows that there's fucking tied to this girl.
Okay, that's what I'm getting at. And, maybe I'm not fully buying into your theory yet, but it does seem like he's got a more direct bond with her than he probably should have, right?
Because think about it this way: if you're these Jedi masters and you find these 2 girls who you can tell are a dyad in the Force,
right?
Are loaded up.
You want them on your team.
Yeah, they're too old. They already said that.
Yeah,
she was like, I was 8 years old. I came in, but the Jedi Council let it go.
That is a good point, Nick. That is, they did kind of skirt the rules there, because I do think they saw something deeper than just a Force user.
And you would never, ever bring in 8-year-old twins to train, because their attachment is fucking rock solid, iron. You could never separate them. You would never even bring in a pair of siblings to train in the Jedi Order because of their attachment. And that was the whole thing, was that you had to be young and unattached. So you have these 2 older, super powerful Force users who are attached at the hip because they're twins. So what do? You lie to them and you say the other one's dead. And then you tell the other one to even further break the attachment. Not only is your sister dead, your sister is the one who killed your whole family. And then you immediately break that bond. So Osha is now separated and hates her sister. So the separation is broken. And then you still have the other one. You still have May, which you're like, I can't train her openly in the Jedi Order because her sister's there. So what do? I train her in secret with these other 3 masters, and we're not going to tell anybody.
Why was Indara saying, who trained you then, to May?
Because Indara looked at her and says, oh, it's you.
Okay.
Like, that was the first thing she said. She's like, it's you. And
she does eventually say who
on her head.
She does eventually say who trained you, right?
Because once they both left the Jedi Order, because I mean, look at Osha. Osha's been gone for 6 years and she has none of her abilities.
She can't even use. I was going to bring that up. Well, I don't have to now, but yeah, she can't even use the Force, which could imply that she's dealing with some dark shit in there, and she has, like, the Force has kind of cut itself.
So Indara knew that was May. And Indara also knew that if you had left the Jedi Order when we thought you did, or you escaped the Jedi Order when you thought you did, there's no way that your skills could be at the level at which they are now.
I'm wondering
who is training you.
I'm wondering if it wasn't necessarily the direct order that trained her, but maybe they kind of commissioned like a cell to take her.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like they train. May got Jedi training in secret from somebody. Either they commissioned somebody, or these 4 Jedi masters were like doing it by themselves.
They wanted to keep them separate so they couldn't fully develop the dyad to kill their power, or they didn't want May to train to kind of limit the dyad.
I mean, they couldn't have brought them together into the Jedi Order regardless, but yeah, they wanted to keep them separate because they knew the strength of their power.
See, I could see that where they've got a little plot to like, listen, we could take both of them. We can't. We're gonna make May the scapegoat or do something. Okay, all right, we'll see.
Yeah, like we got to start thinking about this as like Jedi may not be the bad guys straight up. The Jedi are the ones who caused the problems for these 2 girls. 100%.
Don't want to cut you off, but we've been alerted by our bot that we have a new subscriber in Artemis Barker. Welcome to the Star Wars Time Show, Artemis. Thanks for the sub, buddy. All right. Well, hey, good little tangent there. Did we cover the dyad? Did you get it?
Yeah. Okay. I think we covered everything. But
last thing on this. Do you see Osha going dark now and May returning? By the end.
No. Okay. I think that both of them are going, like, what's going to end up happening is that they're both going to be drawn to each other, and they're going to say fuck the Jedi, and they're going to say fuck the dark side too. They're just going to
move back in with mom and tattoo their heads and become witches again.
Yeah, I don't know what their end goal is, but they're like, or like where they're going to end up, but they're going to end up together.
Yeah, look, I'm with Sir Dork. I mean, I'm not shitting on Nick's theories. I can't quite get there yet, but I'm working there. I definitely the 4 Jedi had a hand in what went down on Brendock. I mean, they weren't there to just, Soul's like, oh yeah, but we essentially became her parents and took care of her since she was 8. It's like, well, yeah, well, you guys probably were the catalyst for her family being destroyed.
Like there was just the thing is like there was no way for or no reason for one, like for May to think that Osha was dead unless she was told that. Yeah, like somebody had to tell her.
Here's the thing. I'm going to say I don't think the Jedi were purposely trying to wrong these girls. Their family. No. It's exactly like Torben said. He's like, listen, in our order and our beliefs, we truly thought we were doing the right thing, and clearly it was not. Okay, all right.
Exactly. Yeah, like I don't think that there was, but that's the problem with the Jedi is they never think that they're doing something wrong.
Right.
They never see beyond their own like what they think is right. And like, so I think that Torben was 100% telling the truth. I think that Torben was like, we thought we were doing the same thing. He 100% or the right thing. He 100% believed that for sure.
Good stuff. All right. Excellent work there, young Nick. Got a few more ha's for you. This is a stupid one, but did anyone else notice just the overly film grainy ass look on this? I mean, it's on my Mac. It's on my nice OLED. I'm just like, come on, would Leslie shoot this shit on film? A little too noisy for me. I know that's nothing worth really getting into, but that's just a bitch. We talked about Jedi living in a dream, all that shit. The Acolyte's got to kill without a weapon, blah, blah, blah. Well, we know the Master is definitely a man because he was referred to as he multiple times. I'm going to save the Qimir stuff for last. So, did you notice, kind of like Qui-Gon Jinn, that towards the end there where Soul's talking to Vernestra, he's starting to get a little fucking frustrated with the Order and they're slow walking this, and you hear it's like, no, we need to take our time, we need a committee, we really got to slow down and talk about this. He's like, what the fuck do you mean? We know where they're going, let's just fucking do something. And like Qui-Gon, I'm pretty sure he's going to do it because I believe the scene we saw from the trailers with Vernestra doing the saber whip is going to be on Kofor. So it looks like she's going to probably have to take a contingent of Jedi with her, possibly going after Saul and his group, or maybe he does return like a good boy. They have their powwow, their board meeting, and then they all head to Ko-4 next week. So yes, Saul, he ain't down with the Yoda and Mace Windu style of Jedi mastering, right?
He's definitely a little bit more freeform with how he handles things, for sure. So, and I think that like that may be a character trait that you know is that will come back to haunt him or something like that.
More than likely, it kind of got Qui-Gon in the end too. So
yeah.
All right, so here's the big one, and I'm gonna spend a little time setting this up, and then I'd love to hear your take on it here. Qimir. I was pleasantly surprised by this character. First off, I think, what's his name? Manny Jacinto? Fantastic job acting it. But after kind of watching his scene with May and then his scene with Osha and then his scene with the Jedi, if you really listen to what he's saying, what he knows, what he does, what he can do, this dude is not just your fucking Han Solo scoundrel smuggler type, okay? This guy, in my opinion, which we already know through his conversation with May, he knows about May's master. He knows about May's journey. He's in it. He's telling us he's just more or less her transportation and fetcher guy. That's bullshit. Okay, he knows the inner workings of what May's up to, May's master, May's revenge against 4 Jedi. I'm going out right now and saying this guy is going to be the Sith apprentice, not the master. He is the apprentice to the master, and May is the acolyte he is trying to recruit to overthrow the master. And this is Sith 101, okay? George has done this. This is in Legends. This is what they do. The rule of 2 is a nice thing, but you always have to worry about your apprentice taking on their own acolyte to take you out as master. It happens. So, and here's some of my proof for this, Nick. And you said this the first time we saw him in the trailer when he literally starts rattling off the Sith creed.
Yeah.
and what really hammered it home in this one, Nick, as soon as he says it, May's like, shut the fuck up, asshole. I get it. You guys have beat this concept into my head. Peace is a lie. I get it. We're not doing the whole creed here. You can stop, right? I mean, it was very clear that she's heard peace is a lie speech a few times with Qimir in the same room, okay? So we got that there. He knows again way too much about what she's up to, way too much about this master. He also knows how to make poison from material found on Brendok. The most scoundrels know how to do that type of shit. You could pretty much tell when Osha came in that he knew it wasn't May. He was just kind of playing around, feeling things out. He's like, wow, you really are just like her, like soaking in, like, ooh, maybe I can have 2 of you now, or if you're stronger than her, I'll just bounce on to you. Another big reveal. If this guy's just a bum scoundrel, how does a trained Jedi killing Force user sneak up on him and is not able to kill him? I mean, she ambushes him in an alley and he defends it.
Yeah.
Like defends, like, nope. Not doing it to me. I'm sorry. He is not a scoundrel. He is the Sith apprentice. May is his acolyte. He is trying to overthrow the he in quotes that they're talking about.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm fully in line with that for sure. We don't even know, like, he might be mask guy. I mean,
correct.
Like, we don't know.
Correct.
Like, we don't know if he's playing 2 roles, if he's like, if he is pretending to be this like the master that she thinks she's working for, while also like tagging, like, doing the role as Qimir, like, but I do think that he's ultimately like pulling her strings.
I mean, here's the other proof. She comes to him about Torben like, dude, I can't kill him. He's unstoppable. And what does he do? A scoundrel be like, hey, tough shit. I don't care.
It's like, what do you
you're
want
paying
me to
money.
do?
He tells her the secret. He's like, listen, everyone has a weakness. Jedi have a weakness. All Master Torben needs is another Sith word, absolution. Right? Don't Sith love the absolute? Thank you.
Yeah.
So this guy, a surprise but a welcome one for sure. I do believe he is going to be the big twist of this series. The twins are out of the way. Like we just need to learn what happened in the past that fueled them to this point. Qimir's going to be the twist. He's going to be revealed as the apprentice. He is not the master. If he's the master, then we do kind of break some canon that should not be broken. Like Tenebris or Plagueis should be the fucking chief at this point in time, correct?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is like we don't know who the big guy is at this time, but it's one of those two. It's one of those two. It's we're 100 years out. It is very possibly still Tenebris, and then Plagueis comes like right after. But yeah, like it's one of those two for sure. So and then whoever Qimir really is could also be like if this is Plagueis, what Plagueis did was like he tried to find a lot of different apprentices, like as did Tenebris. Tenebris had an apprentice aside from Plagueis called Venomous at the same time. He had two apprentices. So like it's very possible that this is Tenebris that has another that this is another one of his apprentices or something like that. So even though it was the rule of two, I mean, it was really kind of like the rule of however many I need to find until I can find the right second one.
Exactly. Like, yeah. I mean, come on. The Sith, I mean, they are pretty strict and they did stick to it pretty well, but they got loosey-goosey as they were trying to get to their end game here.
I mean, what the rule of two was really trying to stop was like building up a fucking full Sith order again.
I got to talk to you about this when we're done, because Saturday night I may have ate some funny stuff and stayed up really late, and I watched a 40-minute cutscene compilation of Star Wars. The
Old Republic.
Yes. I've seen all the story moments, and I've got questions.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I may not even be able to answer them all, but I'll do my best.
But just kind of wrapping up here on Qimir, and if he is the apprentice, think about how this could just help canon and feed into the prequel era, and them still believing that the Sith haven't been seen for millennia. If he is the apprentice and May is his acolyte, and the Jedi take them out in some form of combination, hey, we took out the two, right? So
yeah, I mean, like that's the thing. Is like because the Jedi are very happy to believe that the Sith are no longer a threat, and they don't have anybody that are actively like investigating potential Sith leads. Yeah, they're like two done.
Yep, got it. Check. And by the way, they were barely even wearing black costumes, and only one had red lightsaber. I don't even think we have to tell the Jedi Order. Like, I don't even think we have to tell the Council.
Forget it.
Don't bog them down with this shit. It's no big deal. Problem solved. We killed two people. They had a red lightsaber. Done.
Yeah. Standard.
All right. Here's Bat. He's a Palpatine. That's right. Yeah. What if he is Qimir Palpatine? That'd be awesome.
That would be fucking hilarious.
Oh man, because at least Sheev had a real dad, unlike Sheev's kid who had a clone version of a dad.
Yeah.
But yeah, don't sleep on Qimir. Don't sleep on this prediction. Get ready to start breaking out those trophies. All right. And you know what, my friend? I think that kind of nails all the ha's I had down, unless you had something else you wanted to run by.
I don't think so. I think we've touched on everything so far for sure. But yeah, man, I'm like, while we both agree that there was no one big moment in this 2-episode premiere that was like, oh my god, it's not like fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi when Vader drags his ass through the fire or shit like that. There were a lot of just good narrative moments in here that have built a lot of intrigue for where this story is going.
And that's the most important thing, man. Story is everything.
Yeah. So I am really invested in this series, and I really want to see how they're going to play this plot out, because there's a lot of different directions it can still go from here. Like there's a lot of unanswered questions, and the way that this has been designed is that there's not a very clear linear path to how this is going to play out. There's a lot of different ways it can go and a lot of different things that can happen. So I really am interested to see how Leslie and the writing team were able to really flesh this out. So.
Yeah, I mean, like Bat's saying here, he senses a lot of hope here. and in the community in general, which is good. We're not used to that when new Star Wars comes out, especially when it doesn't have just a bunch of broed out white guys. So that's good. But you are right. I mean, this show might not have the wow like visual moments or ooh, did you see that? Can you believe they did that? But it is building the story correctly. Here's the danger though. I think it's walking a tightrope, because I think it's going to do a great job of kind of dragging us along, not necessarily a slow burn, but like, okay, ooh, we got a little more. Oh, I can't wait to see what happens next. If the final reveal doesn't stick, this show's dead. It's over.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it really comes down to like the lead up to it. You know, if they do a really good job of, and here's what I don't want it to be is like, it's just a bunch of obfuscation until the end, and it's like, oh, here's the reveal. Like it does, like a show doesn't need that. Like if you let it play out and you like follow the plot points along, and then like as long as your audience is invested, I don't feel like you need like a huge M. Night Shyamalan style reveal where it's like, oh my God, this was it the whole time. As long as the story like pulls in the viewer, then I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I fear, because I do think this series is going to give us answers every week to the point where episode 8, we're like, all right, we're going to get the last piece of the puzzle. All I'm saying, Nick, is if that last piece doesn't hit well, I think this series is DOA. I don't think it gets season 2. And Leslie has promised. She's like, listen, I wrote season 1, so if fans stick with it, they will have resolution. But it's done in a way that I can come back for a second season. But the main story of this season will be resolved.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's smart. And I think that, like, even if there is a season 2, it doesn't necessarily have to have the same main characters. Like, we're functioning in a completely different era of time. Yeah. So,
no, I mean, sorry, she actually said, if I do a second season, I already have handpicked High Republic characters I want to feature. She discussed kind of lamenting the fact that they did toss around, this was one of our wants, they tossed around referencing Darth Bane in season 1, but apparently they held back. But she said, yeah, that's the type of stuff we could expand upon in another season. So
like, that's what I love to hear, because that just shows me that she is an invested fan in the franchise and understands why a character like Darth Bane is important in this particular storytelling era.
Right. So,
you know, I hope it all goes well. Like, I have never watched a Star Wars show where I was like, man, I really hope this gets canceled at the end of it.
No, we're somewhat normal people at least when it comes to Star Wars opinions.
Yeah. But in this instance, I think that it's super important to Lucasfilm that this does well, because this is your first salvo in a completely new era.
I mean, did you see the bill?
No. Did they reveal how much it cost to
reportedly produce? 180 big ones, buddy.
I mean, honestly, that's less than I thought it would be. Like,
I mean, it's going to be what, almost a 6-hour-long movie, so it's almost a deal if you think about it.
Yeah, and it's 6 episodes, so it was. Or is that what it is? 6 or is it 8?
It's 8. It's 8 total, but the episodes are seemingly only going to clock around 30.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying, 6 to 7 hours maybe.
Yeah. I mean, look, you would pay fucking way more than that to produce a film that was only 2 hours. So
speaking of depressing box office shit and why I hate you for probably being right on this, in its second week, Furiosa lost to Garfield.
I mean, dude, I fucking told you. Like, also,
oh no,
like, I don't know. I just feel like the advertising for that movie was dog shit leading up to it. Like, it was so bad. And then also when the director comes out and says, I think dialogue ruins movies and my main character only has 30 lines in the whole show, people are like, well, then what the fuck am I going to go see? Like, what am I watching people drive around the fucking desert for 2.5 hours?
You'll love it. Don't worry. She says plenty. Chris Hemsworth character makes up for it. Don't worry.
Yeah, I know. That's what I've heard, is that Hemsworth is really like this, like the breakout.
He's amazing. Like, I honestly think he might be a lunatic, like, for real. He's good. All right, hey, let's kind of tee things up for next week. So I'll just go ahead since I'm already blabbing here. I think it's very clear where episode 3 is going to take us. We're going to KOFOR. Both parties are eventually. I mean, May and Qimir, they're guaranteed to go there. And I do think Saul, he may have to make a run back to Coruscant, but they're going to find something out where they're like, yeah, we got to go. And I think that's where we're going to see this contingent of Jedi. Vernestra, possibly Plo Koon, a bunch of them. The scenes from the trailer where they're like looking over a cliff's edge or walking across this grassy knoll. I think that's the episode we're getting. I hope, Nick, in episode 3 that they at least give us pieces of the Brendock flashback, and I think they have to kind of explain why Kalnaka is exiled. So I think we will get possibly the Torben possession and the Kalnaka Torben fight next week as well. You got to assume May's going to be able to take him out, right?
That's kind of what I was going to say, is we have to assume that Kalnaka is going to die, and that the only one of this infamous 4 that's going to be left for a majority of this series is Sol. And I think the reason why he wants to, like, that Sol needs to rush there is because he knows is like the Kalnaka is the last one. Right. Like Kalnaka is
it's very
the
clear
last
what's
one
happening.
Before, and then also Kalnaka is the one that may just say, fuck it, I'm the one who got the most fucked out of this because he's in exile, and like he may be like, look, you don't have to kill me, I'll fucking help you. Like we don't know.
What if you got a Wookiee seppuku?
Like maybe
like that. Hey, speaking of Wookiee, I wore my little Funko Pop Wookiee shirt today. Let the Wookiee win. How about that?
1-6 asked me if I've watched Mad Max. Yeah, I have. I watched Fury Road. I watched Fury Road in the theaters, and I really enjoyed Fury Road. But I'm saying, like, you can't say some shit like that to a general audience and then have them be super excited to see your movie. Like, it's just not smart.
Does he die in episode 3, or do we potentially spend a part of episode 4 on KOFOR?
I think we move quick past him.
Okay.
I don't think that we're going to hang too much. And especially considering that, like, things seem to be moving quickly, especially around the death of the 4. Like, in 2 episodes, 2 of them are down.
Right.
So I don't think
by
that
episode 4, Sol be dead. Game over.
Yeah, maybe. But
roll the credits.
I don't think Kalnaka makes it, but I do think that Kalnaka is going to be her most difficult task.
You would hope so.
And the problem is that I'm not 100% sure. Well, that's the thing, is like, I'm not 100% sure where Kalnaka's head is. And then also, I don't know if Sol is trying to avoid this council just to save Kalnaka's life. Like, I feel like he's got some other shit. Like, he knows that Kalnaka is the last one. Like I said, he knows that he's the last of the 4 that
Nick
knows
is
the
team
truth.
Shady Sol. I have a feeling here.
And I'm not saying that he's going to go and try to do anything to Kalnaka himself, but he knows that Kalnaka holds this secret, and that that there's some other things that Kalnaka could do that could be more damaging than just May killing him. My friend Phil just popped in here. Says, I was going to say,
go ahead and take this one, Nick. I'll pop it up.
Of an editing one. The episodes just kind of end mid-scene. It really feels like these episodes were originally intended to be longer. Yeah, Phil, I know that Leslie has said that they didn't give her like a time limit, and that she could kind of choose how long each episode was. So I don't know if it was intentional to end it that way, to like leave you on not really a cliffhanger, but like a non-traditional endpoint, so it like builds a little bit more
I kind of know what he's
the next one.
I felt this from Phil. I actually kind of felt some weird edits throughout each episode where it's just like you kind of have a hard wipe. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
But it literally, if you watch the end of episode 1, they barely even let Kylo Grin say his last word before Leslie's name pops up. It's just like, all right, shut the fuck up. Boom. Episode's over.
It does end quick. They do end quickly. So yeah, I don't know if that's like a stylistic choice or if that is more of like maybe Leslie didn't have too much to say about the end edits, but yeah, it does end quickly.
Hold on, I got some others from the live chatters here that I want you to address. I got to bring up the right picture for this. All right, so Sir Dork is asking, are you guys a part of the Yord horde? And of course, I got Yord up there, shirtless setting the stage for Kylo to do it hundreds of years later.
I know, right?
But we got another half-nude Force user. Nick, Yord, what's your take?
I love the way that this character is built. Like, not physically built. I love the way that they wrote him. Because
he's such a douche.
I know, and it's perfect for this era of Jedi.
Are you do you get like prototype Mace Windu vibes from this guy?
Dude, I don't even know if I get prototype Mace Windu vibes, because Mace Windu wasn't as like, he didn't have that like,
he's not personal, as dorky. Like he's not like as dorky.
Yeah, it's just like this sense of personal better. Like, I'm personally better than this
Mace
person.
was just,
like
like
else.
a by the book, goody two shoes type. Yeah, Yord's a little more like I'm by the book, but I'm awesome because of it.
Yeah, like Mace Windu was just like hardcore rule follower, like by the book, nothing else. Just like, I am as serious to a T. Yord's like, I'm a book follower, but I also know that I'm the smartest person in any room that I'm in, which made that scene when they're on the when they're on the fucking balcony and he like lays out this whole plan, and then Jackie's like, well, why don't we just send in the twin girl and do that? And then Soul's like, we're gonna do what she wants to do. Yeah. And Soul and then Yord's like, okay, well, I'll be ready in the back.
He just gets emasculated left and right. I mean, even Jackie's busting his balls, and she's a Padawan.
Dude,
so
I love the way that they wrote that character.
Even Osha's like, oh, Yord, you finally made Jedi Knight, you big idiot. You know, like you loser.
Yeah, I know. It's so great. It's so great. Because we've never seen a live action Jedi made like this or written like this.
He's kind of like the comic relief, right? He's there for people to make fun of and to look like a doofus.
Yeah. And I think it just works so perfectly for this era of Jedi where we see them being super overconfident and overstepping their lines so much already in so many different ways. Because like Yord just has this huge ego. And then Soul just feels so comfortable overstepping his bounds and like what should be the line for a Jedi. And like the only one who really seems like they're trying to do shit by the book right now is Vernestra. Because Vernestra is like, look, this is the Jedi Order, right? Like, we have protocols. Like, what you guys have just experienced.
We gotta follow Article 2 of Section 3.
So, like, even though it seems like how annoying, like, she's the only one who's like following Jedi procedure, and everybody else is just doing shit the way that they want to.
Chad.
Dude, it kind of is.
Nice one, Bat. Yeah.
And it's just like, so yeah, I mean, I love how how in such a short amount of time with the few characters that we've really spent time with, the writing team has done such a good job of like presenting Jedi hubris in different ways. And I really enjoy it.
It's like you kind of don't like Yord because of how he's portrayed, but I think he is portrayed in an interesting way for sure.
Yeah.
I also, do you like it? Literally at the start of this series, they're like, Jedi only pull their sabers when they're ready to kill. This motherfucker, any situation, Zeom! He's like, let's go!
Yeah, Yord's just like lit up all the time.
All the time.
He's ready.
You're going in a dark cave, light it up. You're talking to a smuggler, light it up. Let's go.
Like everybody else, all the other Jedi walk in this room.
Nothing.
No lightsabers. No. And this dude just busts it out. No big deal. I'm like, what are you doing?
Dude, no one else has lit their saber outside of Endara. Like this guy's trigger happy over here.
Yeah, he's just ready
maybe
to go.
Maybe I'm being talked into the fucking Yord horde after all.
I love this dude. And it's not that like I think that his character is doing the right thing. I just love the way that they wrote him.
Yeah,
like it's just so good.
He is a very uniquely portrayed Jedi. There's no doubt about it. It's like he is. He's like that overachiever that thinks he's really killing it and doing the right thing, but he just looks like an ass to everyone else.
And it's like, and everybody else around him knows
they're in
that
on the
it's
joke.
like,
Yeah.
oh God, he's just such a douche.
He's the only one not in on the joke. Everyone else is like, yeah, look at this doofus. He's good though. What's that guy's name? Charlie. I mean, he was one of the leads in Russian Doll. So I mean, Leslie brought pretty much the entire team with her, and I do think he's doing well.
He's doing a killer job.
All right. I thought there was one other one I wanted to get here, but
rookie cop, says Johnny. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, hey, there you go. That's our Acolyte deep dive. That was pretty fun, and I think big takeaways for next week. Most of it going to take place on KOF 4. Kalnaka probably meets his maker, and we get more Jedi joining the fray. Yeah,
and I hope we get a little bit more info on the twins and how everything went
Jedi
went down.
Porkins 2.0. Bat, you're on a roll today.
That's killing me.
I like that. Jedi Porkins 2.0.
Now that you saw the 2 episodes, what are the chances of seeing Yoda?
League, they're slipping away, I think.
Yeah. Like,
I don't get it. Like, it seems silly but maybe she's like, I'm not going for the cheap hits like Tony. I don't know.
Yeah. I think that because they're for sure not going back to the temple to have this fucking powwow, this Jedi powwow, it's getting harder and harder to see an angle where he comes in.
Maybe we get a mention. She says like, hey, Master Yoda really wasn't down with this, but fuck it, I'm coming. Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah. Right. But like I was saying from the beginning, I was like, I don't really want, we've seen so much Yoda, like, and we'll have the opportunity to, like, if this goes into season 2, almost for sure you're going to get him. But I think that, like, I'm not saying that we've even seen all of the cast of characters yet, but I think that, like, it doesn't feel like he's needed right now.
No, he's not. I was just saying, hey, it'd be nice. It's just a tip of the hat to see the guy, maybe in some different garb, even if just walking by or sitting in the fucking Jedi break room having a smoke.
He's coming out the can.
Yeah, like, I'd love to see that. He's got like toilet paper stuck to his foot, and all the little Padawans are like, look at it. Someone puts a "kick me" sign on his back.
Yeah, I know. He's just like the teacher that everybody makes fun. That would be great if that was what Yoda's like early masterhood was like he was the Jedi that everybody made fun of.
Yeah, and that's why he kind of loses his edge. He gets worn out.
You know
by
what, dude?
I like this from Bat. I do think a Yaddle cameo might be even better.
I agree. I think I mentioned Yaddle maybe in the pre-recorded one or one of the episodes leading up to the Acolyte.
She did look sexy with that hair, man. I mean, geez. She had to be one of the hottest of the Yodas.
I say that if you get Yoda, you have to get Yaddle. Like, there's no way that you can show just one.
What if Vernestra opens a door and they're fucking?
That could happen.
Yaddle and Yoda, and there's Grogu, except 100 years early.
Like, you just see, it's like they're in the same room and you just see the bassinet like way in the back, tucked away, and you don't know what it is. Like,
they're floating like the Yoda species. They do it by floating in the air and using the Force to kind of bring their bodies together.
It's like
okay, we're off the rails at this
It's
point.
like Demolition Man, where they don't actually touch. Like they just they can't touch.
That's a great callback, man. That's a good movie. Demolition Man with Stallone, Snipes, and wasn't that one of Bullock's first?
Yeah, it was, dude. Like
maybe
the
after
cast from that movie is wild. Like, it's just crazy.
Damn, some of those like early mid '90s action movies are still
off the wall.
'80s to '90s, you can't beat the action franchises from those decades. It's just like something special.
Like the Escape franchise, Escape from New York, Escape from LA, all that shit is so crazy.
Good stuff. All right, well, you know what, Nick? I think it's time to transition over to this week's fan segment. It's been a few weeks. If you were paying attention, I kind of did some half-assed top fives the past 2 weeks. I at least sent out the graphic, didn't do a post like Nick does. Here we go. Joe Coughlin's going to take the Barash vow tonight so he doesn't kill his kids at bedtime. I like that. That's good. Use your inner peace, my cuz. He's allowed. He's a cousin. He's allowed to say that type of crazy shit. That's normal for our family to talk about, killing kids and whatnot. But anyways, we made it to the point of the SWTS where we are here to honor our fans. That's right, everyone. If you're new here, we are one of the only shows, probably the only show, that dedicates a weekly segment to their fans. There's multiple ways to get involved these days. We have the Ask Us Anything that we do at the top of the show. But then to close things out, we have our question of the week, which always gets posted to Instagram at StarWarsTime.show. I've been throwing it up in our YouTube community now, Discord. It's all over the place. You just got to find it and respond, and maybe we'll read your response today. And there's a good chance little Matt here might have grabbed too many responses, so hopefully Nick is reading them super fast today, Micro Machine style. The other way to get involved is, of course, what you're looking at right here if you're on the live stream. Oh, sorry about that. I'm speaking fast, which means the air is going to be intaked and then expelled. But that's our top 5 Star Wars fan artist features of the week. Nick does that every Monday night. He goes through all of our tagged shots on Instagram. That's right. You got to do add tag at StarWarsTime.show. Nick will look at those only. We still want you to use the hashtag, but to participate in the top 5, you got to do add tag. All right, let's go ahead and pop up the question of the week this week. They're going to be easily guessed, okay? We are in new Star Wars, so they're always just going to be, hey, did you like your new Star Wars or not? And we kind of want to hear what you had to say. So this week, we asked the team or the fans out there, how are you feeling about the Acolyte premiere? Let us know. And here we go.
Here we go. First up.
This is Bango, I believe.
Bango. Yeah, it looks like his little picture. He says, relieved, ? He says they accomplished, I think they accomplished a lot in the first 2 episodes, set the tone, introduced a bunch of new characters effectively. We know enough, but all of them to have a basic feel, and offered an intriguing mystery. I hope this will shut people the fuck up, but not holding my breath. Yeah, I mean,
I haven't looked. I can only go off one of my friends. They're definitely in the neckbeard crowd, but Bat's been saying all day, he's been scouring Twitter and shit like that, which is usually the cesspool. He's like, it's pretty positive. So I mean, fingers crossed, I guess. Not that I give a fuck what these people think, but it would be nice to get through a Star Wars show without misogyny and racism. So that'd be cool.
Fingers crossed. We'll see. Next up is Corona 4. He says, cautiously optimistic, not too wild yet, but off to a good start. Kind of sounds like us. I mean, I don't think we're cautiously optimistic, but the not too wild yet, that's kind of like where we were a little bit.
100. And even when Jared came in here, Sir Dork, he's like, he kind of played into what I said. It's like, dude, they dumped all the wow moments for the first 2 episodes in the trailer. So it's kind of hard to be like, oh, wow, look at that fight when you've seen it already.
Yeah, you saw the fight.
Like 5,000 times leading up to the debut. All right, moving on.
Yeah, we'll see. Rippick Tan says, feeling great about the show. Characters are well written and acted. Sets and costumes look awesome. In an intriguing story setup. Lots of aliens. Hopefully we will see some species that we recognize.
Zygerians.
Yeah, hopefully so. Tones1138 says, really enjoyed the show's opening. Or the opening shows. Visuals looked really nice and pacing was good. The fight choreography was very well done. And the Force Foo worked in well with the fighting too. Truthfully, I wasn't looking forward to the Acolyte when first announced, as this era was never of interest to me, but the show has totally sucked me in. I'm glad that Tones is liking it. Corellian Smuggler says, it's effing lit, man. Fire, fire, fire.
Beautiful. When Nick reads the emojis, it's my favorite part.
Corellian Smuggler, really feeling it.
Fire!
2797 Studios, Mr. Bat, always here. He says, welcome to the High Republic, where the Jedi are in charge and you better comply. Love it. I didn't like all the new characters. Yord is a douche, but I believe he's supposed to be. And that's the thing is, like, the people who are like, I don't like him because he's a douche, that's the whole point. You're supposed to not like him. So
the writer's job has been achieved.
Yeah, nailed it. But I believe he's supposed to.
There you go. So Bat's got it. He knows what's going on.
I noticed the Jedi, Masters and all, are using the Force to bully. I have issue with that. I'm not sure that will be addressed. I'm happy to be in a new era. Force Foo, I'm in. Practical effects and sets look fantastic. I'm hopeful. I think this can be great, but I also can see it crashing. Burning Neckbeard seemed to like it. Let's all keep our fingers crossed, and I wish you guys weren't right about Trinity dying in the first 5 minutes. Like, hey, man. But yeah, like...
When you're good, you're good, bro.
Yeah, to Bat, the Jedi, like they're playing the Jedi like that for a reason. And I don't think, and the reason is not like, well, you know, the writers don't know how Jedi really are. Like they're making a point with that. Like they're making a point with the oversteps. They're making a point with Yord being a douche. Like the way that they have written the Jedi in this show is very intentional. And that I think that's what Leslie was talking about leading up to the release.
Mm-hmm.
And then League of Extraordinary Sixers chimes in under Bat and says, what Bat said.
Got it.
League agrees. Pixel Rope says, I thoroughly enjoyed it. While I was initially disappointed that the twin mystery was answered so quickly, the pacing made up for it. The show feels like an EU comic, one of the good ones, as there are plenty of bad, and I'm here for it. They're definitely setting up the Jedi for a reckoning with their perceived infallibility, and I'm here for it. This one is for Matt. The Sith are really going to hit him where...
Hit him with the high! That's how you say it.
Okay, there you go. And I can't wait. Also, is anyone else tired of the incessant whining fandom before every premiere? Are we that damaged that we have to hate everything before we see it? And he says answer yes, and the answer is yes.
Pixel Rope and I commiserate sometimes on the broken fandom we all live in.
It is. It's disgusting. Like the Star Wars fandom has become disgusting. That like you didn't like people were shitting on this show before a trailer even came out.
Yeah, dude.
Like,
I mean, when it was announced that Leslie Headland was running it, it was over for a lot of people.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Pixel Rope, big fan. Nova Toymation says, really digging the show so far. The location and set designs are incredible. The Jedi characters are a bit bland, but that is in their nature. I'm sure they'll grow on me as the show progresses. Amandla shines in both her roles, though she's absolutely crushing it. I'm excited to see where the story goes now that we have the foundation set. It's like, yeah, I think, and this kind of goes back to Pixel Rope too. It's like we got baited with the twin angle as a mystery, but they were like, well, the twins aren't the mystery. There's another mystery. So they quickly pivoted to like the more interesting mystery for sure. Mando Pirate says the show is the real deal. I think the Force Foo, the arrogance of the Jedi, and twins. The show feels so fresh. I'm here for it. Galactic Plastic says it's a little slow overall. It's got a good plot from what I've watched. People need to remember this is before the prequels even came out, so more lore than anything. People will need to be patient.
Hey, look at that. The patience with the Star Wars community. Yeah, good luck.
A kid, like a fucking Star Wars fan actually telling other Star Wars fans to be patient. Just like round of applause for
they're not wrong. Let's just, let's hope people heed the advice.
Yeah, just listen. EKU Rory says, great stuff, sets, casting, new droid helper, cannot wait for more. That is one.
First time this dickhead didn't mention Jar Jar Binks.
No Jar Jar Binks mentioned either. I really like OSHA's droid. What's
Pip?
It's with Pip. I love Pip, dude.
Yeah, he's like a multi-tool that's alive.
It's like a sentient multi-tool.
Yeah, you can rip his head off. He turns into like a screwdriver or a fucking blowtorch. Yeah, he's pretty cool.
Just pretty sick.
He'll be selling some toy units here, probably.
Oh yeah, they're gonna make one of those handheld things for sure.
I think we got one more set. I definitely overdid it.
Do we have? Oh yeah, we do have one more set.
And
sorry,
you might not be able to read them because I sure as shit can't.
Yeah, so it looks like these are from.
These are from YouTube, actually.
These are from YouTube community right here. Darth LVJ 2262 says, "I'm digging this show a lot."
You can read that? Okay.
Yeah, I got it. It has a very different feel, and yet still obviously Star Wars. I want more. Yeah, like I was saying, it's a different feeling. 1-6 shooter. It's okay. It opened well. Everyone is too clean and looks like they just got out of hair and makeup all the time. Even in this era, things should look used.
Not at the temple, Trevor.
The sets and makeup made me feel like I was watching Star Trek TNG at times. I mean, yeah, I get it, but also. Here's where I struggle with it, because this was a time that was described as Jedi opulence.
Yeah, it's the golden era.
So it's like, that's kind of what they're going for, is like, they're douchey, they overstep, they're way too fucking built up.
Pompous.
Like the pompousness is what like categorized the Jedi at this time. So it doesn't necessarily surprise me that they're so like prim and proper, and they got their gold robes, and they got their, you know, their lightsabers are super elegant, and all this other stuff. Like that's kind of the categorization of the era. And then last up, Beast Mobile 96. He says first episode bummer because of what happens to Trinity, but second episode was much better so far. I'm giving it an 8 out of 10 for premieres.
Right.
Look at that.
There we go.
So lots of one more. Pinpoint Red.
Oh shit! There was another.
Pinpoint Red says I'm digging it way more than I expected. I can't wait for more.
All right.
There we go. Lots of positivity, and honestly, surprising because I was
expecting a few trolls to pop in there, but none. So
yeah, I mean, like everybody at the very least, people seem like I wasn't like super blown away, but I'm interested to see where it goes.
I'm giving it a chance. There's a chance.
So you're saying there's a chance.
That's right.
That's all we need. That's all we need is a chance. Good stuff. So that's it. That's the end of the question of the week for this week. Make sure to follow us at StarWarsTime.show. Keep an eye out on Tuesdays for the question of the week, and then respond on the Instagram comments. And that's how you'll make your way in there. Now we are going to move on to the top 5 Star Wars fan artist features of the week. To get involved with that, also follow us on the Instagram and tag us at StarWarsTime.show. Tag at StarWarsTime.show on your Instagram Star Wars posts for your shot to make the top 5. So, kicking off top 5 this week, we have Quick Picks Toys. And Quick Picks Toys gives us an awesome, like, I'm saying this is like an alternate angle of like a scene that we saw in A New Hope, where Luke is like haggling with the Jawas around the prices for the droids. So we're getting it now from the angle of like behind the Jawas looking towards.
See, I took this as this is him and 3PO looking for R2.
Oh, so when they're out looking,
right.
Oh yeah, because the speeder's in the background.
It's kind of like, remember, I think Mando season 1 where he talks to the Tuskens like to find stuff. It's almost like that. Like, hey,
okay,
desert people, point me in the right direction.
It's like, where did he go? Which way did you see this blue and silver droid roll to? Good call. But I do like the setup.
How the fuck did R2 get that far away? By the way.
Dude, he left at night though.
I know, but his little wheels really go. I mean, you see how fast Luke's land speeder is going. Does he go that quick?
I don't know. Maybe,
or did he turn he probably turned his rockets on?
He turned the fucking rocket boosters on, and that was the only time he used the rocket boosters in the OT, and it was off screen.
You're right. There you go. So, anyways, this is Quick Picks Toys, all one word, Instagram.
Yeah, and I also I don't know if that's Digirama background mountains, but like a perfect job with
I believe Quick Picks does a great job of layering practical with digital for sure.
Yes, so good stuff there. Next up, Ripik Tan making his way back into the Star Wars Time Show.
Fat Boy Slim,
and, dude, the Fat Boy Slim music video. If you got, I know this is old people.
Yeah, I was gonna say most young people, if young people even listen or watch, they'll have no clue what this is.
Yeah, but Fat Boy Slim music video back in the day, Christopher Walken did this dance, and Ripik Tan reimagined it with Rey and Kylo as his background dancers and Christopher Walken as Snoke. I just thought it was a cool ass setup. I love the red and blue on the sides of Kylo and Rey, and then just the perfect like nailing the pose so perfectly.
No, it's fantastic. I mean, Ripik just killed it. Remember, Ripik was saying, hey, running out of motivation, maybe our answers have motivated him again. Because here he is back on the top 5.
Hey, dude, this kind of stuff, like if you have that brain, which I think Ripik, like I think that a lot of the people in the toy photography community have this creative, like this creativity.
I did not. That's why I don't do it as much anymore.
And I think you do too, but it's just like you have an idea of how your toy photography is, and you're like, you see shots and you're like, well, I can't do that. And you come up with ideas and you're like, this is such a cool idea, but I can't do it.
Right.
I think that
sounds
you have
like the voice in my head for sure.
Yeah. I think you have it. You just don't think that you could pull it off.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate you believing.
Hey, this is our boy at Ripik _ TAN Instagram.
That's right.
Like your Snoke theory sucks.
Yeah. That's such a good caption for it.
Oh, here's this guy.
Mandalorian 35. Mandalorian 35. I don't know if he's a listener of the show, but he knows that I love this Darth Malgus figure, and I just love Darth Malgus as a character. So he hits us with a Darth Malgus shot, just straight up badass Darth Malgus, lightsaber ignited, standing on this nice rock with a misty kind of forest background, staring off into the. It's just a clean shot of Darth Malgus. Nice job doing the little lights on the rebreather mask and on the chest plate and in the arm pieces. And yeah, I mean, just a clean Malgus shot altogether.
Yeah, I just looking at the time, I'm not going to open this can of me watching all the SWTOR stories.
Hit it later.
Yeah,
we'll
no, I'm not going to do it now.
Like
I'm going to save it. But like, I got so many questions about this guy now because I believe I've seen more or less his full progression from pre-face mask Malgus to face mask Malgus, and kind of how some of that shit went down. I got questions, but that's not for today. That's a tease episode down the line. I've already written it down on our show topics for rainy days just in case.
Yeah,
but as Nick was saying, this guy's a badass Darth Malgus, and Mandalorian _35 did a bang up job bringing that badassery to your screen.
That's right. Next up, we got Galagus.
These are fucking awesome.
It's disgusting. Like, I saw this and I was like, oh wow, that's really cool. They like pieced together a bunch of different scenes. And then I looked at it, I was like, oh wait, Galagus Rax Picks set up all of these individual episode 1 moments and scenes, and then compiled them all into this image that's essentially like a promo spot for episode 1. It's crazy. You have
guess what,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different scenes that he set up for this shot.
And this is like one of 6 posters.
I mean, it's crazy.
If you look, this is chapter 4, the Battle of Naboo, so it's capturing all those moments. He did the whole movie this way.
I mean, it's absolutely nuts that Galagus did this, and he did them all perfectly.
Yep.
Like this big central scene of the two armies, the Gungan army and the CIS army, going at each other on the field. That looks perfect to the movie. Like there's like, if you told me that was toy shots, no fucking way.
These are little guys. These are the 3 3/4 inch. These aren't even Black Series.
Yeah, I mean, it's just all of them are super impressive. Like the Duel of Fate scene, like the kickoff to the Duel of Fate scene, like the storming the castle scenes.
I'm showing all the posters now. I mean, there is 4 for episode 1, and then he also has these really cool compilations for episode 1, 2, and 3 at the top, where it's their poster or the DVD art of each movie.
With all of the characters,
just figures. It's awesome looking stuff,
dude. I mean, I don't know. Like, this is mind-blowingly good what he did and how he was able to like literally perfectly capture all of these scenes.
Agreed.
Just insane work from Galagus Rax Picks on IG. So
real quick, let's give a shout out here. Bat reminding us we got both Nova Toymation and Sir Dork are in the latest, or in issue 1 of Toy Photographer magazine.
Hey,
I believe you can grab it on Amazon. I think this person Umbara Toy Photos does it all. They do look pretty good.
I believe Umbara has
they used to. A lot of people, once they've got their start from us, they kind of move on. There's another one was Imperial Troops Optics. They were a big time Star Wars Time Show
they
tagger.
Still
never.
They still tag us every now and then. I thought they did.
Oh, no. I don't give a shit. It's just funny. Like, once their accounts blow up on their own, they're like, yeah, fuck this stuff.
So I mean, good stuff there. Congratulations to Nova and to Sir Dork for making episode 1 or issue 1, not episode 1. Sorry, that's a different thing. Of Toy Photographer magazine. So to close out top 5 this week, we have Coleccionista de Plastico on the IG, and it's just a gorgeous scene recreation from ESB Darkside Cave, when Luke is fighting what he believes to be Vader, and the Darkside Cave cuts off Vader's head, and then that mask pops open, and you see Luke Skywalker's
I've got that
face.
Accessory sitting right here next to me. The open face. It comes with the Bespin Luke Hot Toys. But yeah, this is a great use of it. I think it's fantastic how it is the the main focus of the shot with the blade of the lightsaber there kind of coming in to light it up. Because I just sat it on my desk. I was like, what the fuck am I going to do with this thing? Because it's not even like the real Vader head size, but clearly Collectionista de Plastico knows exactly what to do with it. And that's a shot like this.
I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, like Colleccionista de Plastico has been on a tear,
right?
Like recently. And like, this is one of the accounts that we've actually been popping up on the top 5 for quite a long time. Like they've always had some really good quality shots. But if you look at their stuff recently, I don't know if it's just like they've gotten more into close-up like photography, or if they've just like upgraded to a little bit more premium figures, but like their stuff is just solid, man. Like just really, really
I
good.
agree. I would love to have the eye of Collectionista, because I'm 1/6 at this point in time myself, only preferably close up portrait style, not a lot of shit going in the background. But I like how Collectionista doesn't really need a vibrant background. I mean, sometimes it's just a simple light or a dark light in the background that focuses on the character. But yeah, great account, Collectionista _de_Plastico on that IG.
There you go. So that is the end of the top 5. That is the end of our show for this week. Stick around for next week's show because we're talking more Acolyte. But Matt, go ahead and close it out.
That's right, buddy. It was great to be back chatting some Star Wars with you. I'm glad you did not get abducted and you're not pouring yourself out somewhere down in South America right now.
Made it back home.
But yeah, it's good, man. It's always fun to talk mostly positive about new Star Wars. Sometimes it becomes a drag here when you cover Star Wars and everything's so negative and you feel like that's all you're talking about. But it does feel like the Acolyte might have turn the page on that. Hopefully, let's hope that kind of good vibes carries throughout the next 6 episodes. But we are done, and whenever we finish, we like to remind you of where we live on the internet, just in case you want to tell some friends and kind of add to the SWTS army. So don't forget, there's always time for Star Wars Time, and you can find us over on StarWarsTime.net. If you head on over there, you'll see some of our content that we're going to talk about on the weekly show. Even more importantly, though, we've got all the links you need to get linked up to the Star Wars Time show, be it on podcasts, YouTube. Hell, if you just want to download the files directly, you can do it. StarWarsTime.net. All we ask, share it with a friend. If you do sub up, make sure to leave us a rating and review on those podcast platforms. If you're watching us here on YouTube, leave a comment, thumbs up, share it, clip it. Do what you got to do to spread the good word of the SWTS. All right, people, I'm getting a little winded. I can hear the dinner is almost ready upstairs.
The bell is ringing.
Yep, I've got some real work to deal with. I just got an email from a student that's making me a little upset. It's always early semester. You got to kind of get through the low-hanging fruit, if you will. All right, people, don't forget, if you listen to the Star Wars Time show, the Force will be with you always.